What up, y'all? It is, we got two people in the house already. JS, what's up? And somebody else who shall remain anonymous until they speak in the chat. What's going on, everybody? We are live and in effect. Um, Almost didn't make it on time. I had to go change my shirt real quick. I was a little bit grubby. What's up, Lemonous Snickets? What's going on? Um, let's see. Yeah, I had to go change my shirt, and I think right now the kind of started with like this on the channel that I think the black or the blue synthetic T-shirt is kind of like a trademark for me on my YouTube channel now. I mean, sometimes if I'm slumming it, you'll see me in a gray T-shirt, maybe a black T-shirt came up here or there. I don't know. Um, a black like cotton shirt, but basically, I will never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, wear any colors associated with being in prison again. Never. That includes red, yellow, orange, or khaki. I will never own a piece of clothing or wear a piece of clothing that comes in any of those colors for the rest of my life. I do have a red bicycle helmet and a yellow bicycle helmet. It's a little bit different because I take that off when I'm out, only when I'm on the bicycle. That's the closest it'll be. I know some prisons have blue uniforms, but I never went to one of those places. So blue, black, and gray, those are my designated colors. I'll never deviate from those ever, ever. So it's kind of like that guy Tim Pool, that guy that wears that stupid fucking hat every time he gets online. I can't even watch him or listen to him because the whole time he's on, I'm like, man, that's such a stupid hat. The only thought going through my head is, I can't stand that stupid hat. It must be. My connection's good. It just does that. All right, I'm back. Hopefully it works. I don't I don't think it's my connection, to be honest. I have a pretty good speed, but maybe I said something YouTube didn't like, making fun of Tim Pool in his stupid hat. They probably make a lot of money advertising on his channel. They probably didn't like me talking about it. So we'll see what happens if it's working. Let me know in the chat if you can see. I have no way of knowing whether it works or not. Not without running another browser and kind of going in through the back door to see if the stream is working. But yeah, let me know if it works or. All right, I'll just throw that in the chat. Let me know. All right, cool. Thanks, Blue Sky. But yeah, I was talking about Tim Pool wearing that goofy ass hat, and I can't stand it. I heard that he wears it because he's going bald and he's embarrassed about it. But I also heard that he wears it because it was a way to keep him from being doxxed and his identity revealed to the public. And I'm like, really? Are you that dumb? Because, I mean, if that's the case, he must have watched Superman too many times thinking, all Superman's got to do is put on a pair of goggles or a pair of glasses, and now everybody thinks he's Clark Kent. And, I mean, nobody ever knew that Superman was Superman because all he did was put on a pair of glasses. No, that's not Superman. That's Clark Kent. But anyway, Tim Pool has had the SWAT teams called to his house more times than I can count. By the people who do the SWAT team pranks. I'm just waiting for that day to happen to me. He should have figured out he should have figured out that he should have figured it out by now that that wasn't going to work to keep him from being doxxed. But I think the baldness, like if you're just going to go bald, if I'm going bald someday, zoop, that's it. I'm going bald. I'm going to rock it. I mean, it works for a lot of celebrities. A lot of people look good bald. It may be a little bit different for people who are used to seeing me as a regular person, but you know, whatever. I'm not gonna do like a Donald Trump where I grow a bunch of hair on one side and then comb it over my whole head, or any of the other goofy stuff that people do to hide being bald. I'm just gonna go for it. It's it. If I lose my hair, right now my hair is so thick that if I go 6 weeks without getting a haircut, my hair is so thick it's like having a beaver pelt on my head, and I get too hot to even think straight, and I have to go get it cut. So I don't see myself going bald anytime soon. But if it does, just let go of it. Go bald. Do it. Just go all in. That's the best way to handle that. You don't got to wear a stupid hat. You don't got to. Look at a lot of celebrities that just rocked it when they decided to lose their hair, or they didn't choose that, but when it happened to them. It's like if this guy Tim Pool, if he ever gets invited to the White House to meet with Donald Trump, is he going to show up in a suit wearing that stupid fucking hat? I mean, what is this guy? Is he gonna end up being the worst dressed visitor to the White House since Ukraine's President Zelensky, when he shows up to grovel for more of our tax money? I mean, this freaking Zelensky guy shows up to the White House in a t-shirt and jeans, and someone's got to go run over to Goodwill to buy this guy a freaking suit at the last minute. It's like, I think the only guy who could ever get away with wearing jeans to the White House would be Steve Jobs, showing up with his trademark black sweater and blue jeans. And he's one of the wealthiest people alive. So, yeah, if I was that rich and I had no fucks to give, I'd do the same thing. I wouldn't care if I had all. But if I'm showing up to the White House to grovel for money, or in my case, if I'm showing up to the White House to grovel for a pardon from Donald Trump, I'm going to wear a suit. I'm just going to have cufflinks. I'm going to be wearing a nice looking watch. I'm going to dress nice, even if it's all like dollar store crap that I'm just pretending to have bling. I'm pretty good at picking out pretend bling that looks like the real thing. So either way, I'm going to go to the White House looking good if they take a picture of me with Trump at the White House. I'm not going to be showing up in a synthetic shirt with a pair of jeans on, for crying out loud, and some sneakers. But I guess, now Tim Pool, he can't take his hat off anymore, because it's the only way that people recognize him now. Have you ever seen those videos of little kids crying when daddy shaves off his beard for the first time in 4 years? Like the kids don't even recognize their own dad anymore. I don't know if you ever seen toddlers that starts crying when their dad walks in the room without a beard. It's trauma. It's trauma for them. My stepdad had a thick beard, and every once in a while he'd shave it off, and he'd look so retarded that we'd all laugh at him. It was hilarious. He would shave his beard off like once every 3 or 4 years, and we'd all be like, "Oh my God." And everybody, even my mom, would laugh at him. I never keep a full beard, so that really doesn't happen to me. But one time during the Stanley Cup playoffs, I did grow a full beard, not intentionally, but I started dating a girl the second game of the playoffs, so my beard was just stubble at that point. And the freaking Penguins went on to win the Stanley Cup. And unbeknownst to me, they ended up doing it. And my beard was like out here by then. The hockey playoffs, the NHL playoffs, they start in the first week of April, and it ends sometime at the end of June. And I had a baby face, smoothly shaved face on game 1 of the playoffs. But by game 7 of the finals, I had this salty sea beard out to here while I was sitting on a beach camping for a week. And after the big parade in downtown Pittsburgh, I went home and I shaved that thing off. I couldn't take it anymore. Here it's like it's the beginning of July at this point. It's like 90 degrees outside. I'm walking around with this big thing on my face. I can't take it. I shaved it off, barefaced, baby smooth again. And this girl, the girl I was dating, she completely freaked out. Like one of those little kids that start crying when their dad walks into the room without his beard. And I mean, we actually broke up not long after that. And that might have had something to do with it, to be honest. I mean, there were other things. You know, she drank a lot more alcohol than I was comfortable with. So that played a part. But the beard was a big thing. And I think it's because it's the only way she ever saw me was with this beard that kept getting bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. And I got the same reaction out of her as one of these little kids that see their dad for the first time being traumatized and whatnot. And so, I mean, that was pretty funny, but I don't like having a beard. I just did it because I was like, it's hockey playoffs. The Penguins are in it. Let's do the playoff beard thing. And it was me and a few other people doing it. I was expecting to shave that thing off after like 4 games. And boom, I'm here rocking this beard till almost July and going crazy from it. But I was committed. Once you're in it, you're in it. I felt like if I shaved off the beard, the Penguins were going to lose and it would be all my fault. So I better keep it because everybody's going to be mad at me. So we did it. We got the cup. It was all thanks to me. So, so having a car, I don't want to talk the whole 2 hours about owning a car because I've been talking about the car so much. But I got good and bad things to say about it, and I'm going to come at it from, JS is an awesome channel. Now I've got 3 members on the channel, I think. So we are going to have a members-only chat. It's going to have to be within the next, I'm going to say Sunday. If I pop up on Sunday, it'll be members only or something well, I'll figure it out. We're going to do all the member stuff now. Just bear with me. I've had a rough few weeks. September has been very tiring. But speaking of being tired, one positive thing about this car is I drove to work on Monday, got my license plates, came home, and Tuesday morning, I should probably say Tuesday. I should probably say Tuesday afternoon, I woke up. My Garmin watch gave me a 100% body battery charge for the first time since probably February. Granted, I slept until almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, it was actually noon. It had to be noon. And the only reason I woke up at noon on Tuesday was because I had a Zoom meeting with a client. And the client knew that I was bombed out. So he was like, the night before, he was like, we can push that meeting off if you need to, because I know what you're going through. So, but sleeping until noon a couple of times this week has reminded me of how often I would need before I was arrested. Every now and then, I would need to just disconnect from the world and go sleep for an entire day. Whatever my body told me to do. And all right, here's the troll. Hey, what's up, troll? Anyway, so I'd be reminded how often I would need to just sleep an entire day away back before my arrest in order to resynchronize with the world and just lay in bed, do nothing. And ever since I got out of prison, I really haven't done that much. Great, dude. All right, dude. Let's see. Later, Holmes. So whatever, dude. You can't come at me being a troll using my old photography name that I made up for my own photography. Hey, you're gonna get kicked off the channel for that one. So peace out, homie. We'll talk about the car in a minute. So anyway, yeah, I was reminded how often I would need to sleep in. Um, so last night, now somebody's going to show up with a different account who was probably that troll. I see the patterns because there aren't enough people watching my channel. So it's like I can see the patterns that people do. And it's kind of funny. Whatever. I don't really care that much. But I feel like every troll that I've blocked from the channel is the same person. It's all one person who just has like 50 different YouTube names so they can come troll, leave a couple comments, get kicked off, come back with a different name. It's like, it's a lot of effort. You put in a lot of effort doing that, and it takes me no effort to go bye. But whatever. We'll talk about the car in a minute. Just getting some sleep was a great thing. Last night, I got a 62% score on the battery, and even though I also slept until noon, in fact, I slept until like 1 o'clock today. I'm basically taking this week to relax, rest, and do a bunch of stuff around the house, trying to like reorganize and clean and whatnot. So I ordered a new bed and a bed frame. And yesterday the bed came, the mattress. And so I got one of those. Well, anyway, the bed came yesterday. And I had to just set it up on the floor. But I went and got bedding from Target. And Amazon said the frame would be here today, but it still hasn't even shipped. And so I got on customer service chat, which is kind of useless with them because Ranjit over in India doesn't know when my bed frame's going to arrive. So they're just going to be, rest assuredly you can be assured that we are assured that you will have assurance. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm going to get. But Ranjit gave me Amazon credit to my account for my trouble, saying that my bed will be here by 10 o'clock tonight. And that was at 3 p.m. and it hadn't shipped. So at 5:30, I look again because I already know what's happening. I already know it's not going to be here today. So hold on here. Oh, okay. So it just updated while I'm sitting here talking. At 5:30, it said hadn't shipped yet. It's supposed to be here today. Ranjit's telling me it'll be here by 10 o'clock. That does happen from time to time. But I knew it wasn't happening today. Just knew. So 5:30, I get back on customer support. Now Sanjay or whoever, Sean Keith, whatever his, just somebody else from India gets on and decides to gaslight me again. But this time he was saying it won't be here till tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, tomorrow's fine. I'll be all right with it tomorrow. It's not going to kill me. I can still put it together tomorrow and have it all done. But Sanjay, or the second one, gave me another $36 worth of Amazon credit. So all in all, over the last couple of days, I got like $60 from Amazon for complaining about shipping. So whatever, I can buy something cool for that down the road when I need it. So I still rank Amazon pretty high on customer service, but I feel like there's definitely been a decline over the last couple of years. I can't say that it's, they're not at the level of a cell phone company or PayPal or any of that trash, But Amazon's definitely taken a downward slope in customer service a little bit. They're making it very, very difficult to talk to a human being, and then the human being can't tell you anything useful other than the only reason I ever reach out to a human being on Amazon is to get money, get some sort of credit on my account, get something for my problem. When my washing machine broke, they handled it better. The washing machine broke on Friday, and I had a new one, so I got refunded, bought one from a different company, bought a 3-year protection plan for it, and it was at my house, and I was doing laundry again on Tuesday. So that worked out pretty good. I can't, the cell phone companies are a lot worse than Amazon. But I ordered the bed frame on Tuesday with a 2-day delivery promise, and it still hasn't, it just shipped 5 minutes ago. And I need a specific kind of bed frame because I need enough room underneath the bed frame to store things. There's a few things. In fact, the mattress for my camping cot that I've been sleeping on, when I put it in its bag, it won't fit anywhere in my place without going under my new bed. So I had to get it a certain height off the ground. And I also have a bunch of things I want to put under there to get out of the way. And so I want to use that for storage. And so I have a plan for this. And you can't buy a bed frame like that in any store. I mean, if it came down to it, I'd just go to IKEA, get a bed frame. But I don't know about IKEA's bed frames really aren't that good. Even if you get a nice one from them, it's first time I get a serious girlfriend, that bed frame's just going to fall apart within like a month. So I don't really want an IKEA bed frame. And the furniture stores, it's just, I'm not going to get what I want. I got what I wanted on Amazon. It'll do the job. Hopefully it's not like total trash, but it'll work. But I got, yesterday I went to the store, which I'm telling you, man, driving to a freaking store, shopping in a store, and just walking around going, oh my God, I can buy something and take it home. And I'm wearing regular clothes. This is the most surreal experience. You cannot imagine what going, not since 2022 have I been able to drive myself in my own vehicle to a store, walk around, pick up groceries, or go to Target and pick up something for the house, drive home. It's been more than 3 years since I've been able to do that. So imagine how surreal and how weird that feels. And but this car has a gigantic trunk and fold down rear seats. So is this the troll? Is he back? I don't know, man. So new car. I got a gigantic trunk and fold down rear seats. I could store 2 dead bodies in the trunk. And with the seats folded down, I could put a whole ironing board. I bought an ironing board back there. No problem at all fitting it in. So I could get a bed frame from IKEA and bring it home in that car. It's huge. The bed frame is kind of keeping me held up on my home reorganization project that's going on this week. Like I said, I ordered a specific bed frame with enough room underneath it to fit storage boxes and stuff like that. But this whole week, I'd say the whole month of September is basically month, because I'm trying to recuperate, rejuvenate, relax, refocus, restructure, reorganize my place, review what I'm doing in life. Got myself a set of wheels. So, the bed frame is kind of a pain because I'm in the middle of trying to get everything done, and I'm willing to wait a little bit. If it shows up tomorrow, no big deal. I don't really care. I'll still be fine. It was so comfortable to sleep on a real bed, even though the mattress is on the floor. Oh, I got such a good night's sleep. I got some really nice sheets. I got some, the mattress is one of these mattresses in a box. It's a spring mattress with a memory foam on top. Cheap, about 150 bucks. I mean, whatever. You can't beat the price. It's a full size. That's what fits in the room properly. As soon as you cut through the shrink wrap that it comes in, the thing just goes boof and blows up into a bed. Because it's springs and not memory. It's not totally filled with memory foam. I left the house for a few hours, and when I came back, I left the house for a few hours, and when I came back, it was ready to rock. Super comfortable. I got really nice sheets. I got pillows, really nice pillows, and a cover, like, I don't know, whatever a comforter or whatever you call. I don't know. The girls might call it something different. Like, no, honey, that's a duvet. It's like, or whatever. It's a fucking blanket. That's what that's what we're gonna call it if we're a guy. So, but the room once the bed frame is here and it all looks nice and the bed is really a real comfortable bed. The room will be perfect once I find a good deal on a love seat and a little coffee table. But that's phase 3. I'm on phase 2 with my place right now. I got 3 plants. You can see one of the plants in the background, just little plants. I got a Venus flytrap that's already completely closed after I must have got some fruit flies, which is awesome. So I might get some more Venus flytraps for around the house. I love those things. I like any plants that eat bugs. I had a really, really big pitcher plant in my old house when I was arrested, and we even named it Sarlacc. In the old sunroom, we bought it in hopes that it would eat some of the stink bugs that would fill the sunroom all the time, but it really didn't. Every time a stink bug would go in the pitcher would turn black and just fall off. So I don't think it really liked to eat stink bugs. But I got the new bed. I got curtains. I got curtain rods just showed up today. I might even be able to put those. I don't think I'm going to have the energy to do that tonight, but I have I've got a drill, my drill bits. I've got a freaking level I just found. There's a level back there in that pile of crap. I've got everything I need to zip, 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 put those curtains up real fast. I even got an iron and an ironing board, a cheap iron, but a nice ironing board so that I can iron. I'm not putting wrinkled up curtains. The bedding is a little bit wrinkled and because you get it out of the package and whatnot. But I just wanted to go to bed last night, so I didn't care. No, I haven't really got any new tools. About to. I mean, I've been picking up tools the whole time ever since February. Actually, ever since I got my bicycle out and started riding a bicycle again, I've been picking up tools all along. Mostly for the bicycle, but I've been picking up tools on a regular basis, not, looking for good deals. In fact, that'll go along with some of the stuff to talk about in a minute. But yeah, I'm going to have curtains tomorrow. I'm going to have a bed, hopefully with a bed frame. Hopefully, I was going to show you a before and after tour of how trashed my place got in the last few weeks while I've been riding my bicycle all over Hell's Creation looking for a car. This place got beat. This place got trashed, neglected, big time. But it was too embarrassing to even take a video of that. So I'll just take you on a tour, little video, when I'm done with phase 2 phase 2 of the transformation of this place. Phase 1 was when I moved in and I made it the best I could make it. You've seen that. That video is up on my up on the channel here. But phase 2 is going to be it's going to be a dramatic change. And And phase 3 is down the road because I don't want to spend all my money on it. I'm trying to be careful, keep enough in the bank. But the car should open up some opportunities. The trunk alone on this car is so big, I could almost put an ironing board in it without having to fold the seats down. You could definitely fit 2 dead bodies in the trunk of this thing. I mean, you probably have to bend them up a little bit, but if you get them in before they go stiff on you, it'd be pretty easy. But after they've gone cold, probably have to break some bones to get them in. But you could do it. 2 bodies, no problem, no problem. It's definitely a low rent gangster car. So on the car front, we'll talk about that for a minute. People are talking about it in the chat. I'll address all of that. So before talking about the car, one thing I will say up front is the bikes would fit in the trunk with the wheels off, possibly just the front wheel off. But I don't like carrying my bikes like that. That's a whole nother thing. But yes, I absolutely could get the bikes in the car if I needed to in a pinch. A bike for no problem at all. No problem at all for that. But one thing I'll say about the car is somebody asked how many miles it has. It has 147,000 miles on it. It's in good shape for that age, for that mileage, but it is, it's that old, so it has things wrong with it. But to go along with that, here's the thing: my budget, the 80,000 mile car was a Fiat 500 turbo that had been in an accident, had a salvage title, and the dealership, with all the fees and everything to get out the door, they wanted $5,200 out the door. That's, license, registration, sales tax, all of it. They wouldn't haggle with me at all. So I walked. And I haven't found a vehicle with less than 150,000 miles on it for under $6,000 the whole time I'm looking. So, I did see a Mitsubishi Mirage with but that car, something has to be wrong with that car for the price. It had like 60,000 miles on it or something like that. But it was so far away that it would be a waste of my time to go look at. I had to stick within a range that I could bicycle to look at. Like, people can give me crap all day long about what car I bought. You're not in my shoes. So the troll that was giving me crap about the car that I bought, you're not in my shoes. You're not living my life. You're not having to ride a bicycle everywhere you go for the last year and a half. You're not living under these circumstances. No, I can't just go look at a car that someone's selling 50 miles away without going on a 100-mile bicycle ride if I don't buy the car. Like, everything. Now that I have a car, fine. If this car turns out to be bunk and I don't like it anymore, guess what? I got a car I can trade in. I can sell it to somebody else, take the money, go get some. I paid so little for the car that I can put it up for sale for what I paid for it. 6 months from now, if I don't like it, I'll sell it for what I paid for it. Yeah, fuck you, dude. All right, if that's how you're going to be, go eat a dick. See you later. Again, you can be a member of the channel without being able to fucking join the chat if that's what you want. Fuck, man. Fuck you. You should have bought a Honda, you fucking piece of shit. Go eat a dick. I bought what I bought. What the fuck, man? This is proof. This is proof that you can't do anything on YouTube. You can't say anything. You can't do anything. You can't do anything without someone having something to say about it. So, whatever. But anyway, I've never purchased a vehicle and felt good about it when I got home. Not one time. That's the point I was about to make. In fact, one time somebody gave me a free car, a 1984 Toyota Tercel stick shift. I didn't even feel good about that car when I got home and pulled into my driveway. I was all nervous about it. I had buyer's remorse from a free car, from a car that I got for free. And all the worries about what might be wrong with it and what's going to go wrong with it and everything else. I had that for weeks after I got it. Every single vehicle I've ever bought made me feel dirty, nervous, second guessing myself, and feeling horrible the second the transaction was done and I'm actually driving the thing and it's mine. So even though I've gone so long without a vehicle, I'm dealing with that right now. It's normal. It's normal. Nobody's going to get a car for $6,000 as your top end budget and not buy a car that doesn't have something wrong with it. So nobody out there is going to disagree with me. Even if you just drove home from the dealership with your dream car, brand spanking new, you're going to feel the same way. In fact, the only people I know that don't go through that are mechanics who know how to fix them and deal with anything that goes wrong with them, in their own garage with a whole auto garage full of tools and knowledge to deal with anything. And those guys pretty much only buy used cars and fix them up. I don't think they ever buy new cars. If they do, it's just for fun. As a bicyclist and a bike mechanic, I bought an almost brand new Specialized road bike. It looked brand spanking new. And yet, for the first month I owned that bike, I was paranoid to even ride it. I didn't even go on a quick 2-mile bike ride for over a month because I needed to give it a full tune-up and check over before I was even comfortable going on a ride on it. And then for weeks after I put it together, I was paranoid riding this bike about what's going to go wrong. On a bicycle, even though I'm equipped to fix pretty much every problem it's going to have on the spot during a bike ride, I was still paranoid about it. I still won't take that bike on a ride if I need to have like a dependable ride. I'll take the red Cannondale because I trust it. One time I was riding the silver bike a couple weeks after I started riding it regularly, and I had to stop at True Value to get an extra Allen wrench set because I needed 2 opposing 6mm Allen wrenches to fix something that loosened up, or it was going to be a long, irritating ride home, and I only had 1 Allen wrench. So I had to go to a tool store and get a wrench to fix it so that I would get home. And now I carry that extra wrench for that purpose. But it's just, this is the same kind of crap you'll go through when you buy a car. And I'm already going through it. I've got a list of things that I'm finding out now that I own this car. I even looked today, the Fiat 500 that I was trying to haggle with, the one where the Hooters sales girl with the big titties came and tried to use her perfume and her charm, shoving her boobies up in my face to try and get me to cave in and go with their price. They finally sold it. So I guess it worked out for them. The dealership either held firm and someone came in and paid them what they wanted, or they finally caved in to someone who haggled them and got it for what they wanted to pay. The Mercedes is still there. You're asking me about that. I'm really not even, I think out of curiosity, I want to go see it. But I don't have a good reason to drive down there for any other purpose. Like if I had to go to IKEA to get a bed frame, maybe that would be, I don't even think that wouldn't even be a good reason to go to where this Mercedes is, to be honest. The Mercedes, I should say. But the Fiat's gone. But here's the deal. Out the door for that Fiat, I would have had to pay $5,200 purchase price, the sales tax, and all the dealership fees and the The sales tax on that car would have been about 287 bucks because the base price was 45.90. So there were $323 in dealership fees on top of the purchase, car registration, and when you take out the sales tax, the registration and title fees are about 36 bucks. So there was $287 in straight up dealership bullshit in the price of that car. And I'm a little more educated now that I bought from a private seller, so I know how that all breaks down. So I was trying to tell this dealership, let me go 4,700 out the door and I'll do it right now. And they wouldn't do it, which was 500 less than what they were trying to get out of me. But that $300 that the dealership makes in their bullshit fees, I don't know. I don't know what their margin was on the car, but they probably had room to maneuver there for whatever they paid for the thing. Had a salvage title, for crying out loud. But Blue Book said their asking price was if you take the low end of the Blue Book value for that car, subtract 40% for the salvage title, it put the price of the car in the range of what they were asking for it. So it wasn't like a ridiculous deal. But I was just being stubborn with them and I wouldn't do it. My car that I just bought out the door, that's the cash I paid for the car, going to the motor vehicle office, getting the license plates, the registration, paying the sales tax and everything else. I'm at $3,937.25, if I'm being precise. I wrote the number down today. So that's $1,260 less than the car I was about to buy. In fact, the Subaru that I handshake agreed to, but the guy backed out at the last minute, would have been $4,250 out the door, and that's with everything. So I'm under that car by 300 bucks. So price-wise, I mean, did I really do that bad getting a Volkswagen Passat for less than $4,000? So even if there are some things wrong with it, when I bought my Mini Cooper, everybody did douchebags like that all told me that it was a stupid car. Why did you buy that? You're going to have nothing but problems with it. And yeah, the first month that I owned my Mini Cooper, it cost me $1,200. First was a new exhaust, but I already knew the car needed it when I bought it. I planned that out. I used that to haggle the dealer. Said this exhaust got a hole in it. I got to replace it. We're going to take money off for that. So I got a clearance exhaust from Borla for that car because it was so old for 600 bucks. And then the alternator went bad. Within the first 2 weeks, I had to replace the alternator. By the time it was all said and done, I also needed a new battery. 1,200 bucks. I was into that car 2 weeks after I bought it. And then from there, I didn't have to put any money in the car. I owned that car for 6 years, and from that moment on, tires, brake pads, windshield wiper blades, a glove box door. I had a spreadsheet that had everything I ever did to the car, oil changes and everything, but I can't log into that Google account ever again, so it's not that big a deal, but I did know exactly. So for the first month, that car cost me $1,200 on top of what I paid. And then for the next 5 years, for the next several years, brake pads, tires, little doodads. I had to replace some sensors for the check engine light, things like that. I paid $5,000 for the car. I put in maybe $2,000, $3,000 into it when I owned it for 6 years. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8,000. Let's say total. That car cost me $9,000 to own for 6 years, and then I sold it for $4,000. So I paid $5,000 to have a car for 6 years. I don't think that's bad. My Jeep Wrangler cost me $17,000 when I bought it from the first day. So that Mini Cooper cost me a little bit more than half of what the purchase price was of my other vehicle. And so when it broke down, if it needed it, it never broke down and left me stranded. But when something went wrong with it, I would just shrug my shoulders and be like, it's a 20-year-old car. What are you going to do? And it's a BMW. So it's going to be even more of a pain in the ass. And I just dealt with it. The VW that I just bought, well, I was also looking at a Toyota Corolla, but I looked at the VW first. If I had noticed some of the things wrong with the VW, I might not have bought it. But when I threw out the price of $3,800 and the guy was like, okay. I was like, okay, fine. I think it'll be all right. If it turns into my Pontiac Grand Am where it's just a piece of garbage that breaks all the time, then I'll sell it and I'll get something else. I'll save up a couple grand. I'll trade it in. I'll swap it. I'll do a lateral move, whatever I got to do. At least I have a car now. That's a big upgrade from not having a car. So there are problems with it. I've got a list, and I'm a freaking... now that I have this car, I'm going to notice something new every day. So the first problem that I've found, it's not the first one I found, but the first thing I noticed. So like I said, I carry the tools that I might need on a bicycle so I'm not stranded 30 miles from home, which are the basics of the tool set that I carry on a bicycle are the basics of anything that might go wrong on a 100-mile ride. After going on lots and lots of 100-mile or longer rides in my life, I generally know what to bring. So I'm more prepared for my commutes back and forth to the bakery than most people would be going on a bicycle ride. You know, your bare minimum, if you're getting into a bicycle riding routine, you're going to want, bare minimum, tire patches, an extra inner tube, a source of air, whether it's a pump or a CO2 cartridge, compact multi-tool with Allen wrenches, screwdrivers, and all that kind of stuff built in. That will get you, you can carry that in a bag this big under your seat on your bike. You can carry it in a tiny little pouch. And you can fit other things in that pouch, a little bit of first aid kit, things like that. Electrolyte tablets. You can really take a little pouch like that and make a good kit. 90% of the time, that's going to be what you need. Everything in that little kit will be all you need. I need to account for the other 10% because I don't have anybody to call. Come and get me in Houston. I'm alone. I don't have a network of people I can be like, hey, can I get a ride? Blah, blah, blah. Uber, maybe, but what's going to happen to my bike if I call Uber? So my tool set takes up a little more room in my backpack. I carry a few extra things, but my backpack can handle the other 10% of things that might go wrong on a long-ass bike ride. I do try to keep the same kind of thing in a car, every car that I own. I'll keep a toolkit in the vehicle at all times that can handle pretty much 75% of what might happen when you're out on the road and, get me home or to the auto garage. So with this new car, I'm starting that process of building a kit out. I just picked up a set of body trim panel removal tools so that I can replace the door switch properly. I discovered on the first day that the passenger side window on the driver's side of the car, the switch doesn't work. The switch works on the passenger side. But I'm on Amazon Vine. I was able to order the switch for free. So I got it. It's sitting here. So I decided to go get the trim panel removal tools so that I can, if I have to pry off a body panel inside in an interior panel inside the car, I've got the right tools. So I'm not going to screw everything up using a screwdriver or ghetto ass tools for it. Got a little pouch. It's got all the proper body panel removal tools. takes up almost no space. It'll go in my tool bag. It'll just be there. If I have to pop something off while I'm out on a trip, pop it off, put the new thing in, I'm good to go. So I'll be able to fix the window switch tomorrow because I don't feel like doing it, or whenever, because I'll be able to do it whenever I feel like it. So with the new car, like I said, I'm starting the toolkit process. So I used to have a really nice top of the line Craftsman toolkit ratchet set, gunmetal gray coating. It's nicer. Put it this way, it's nicer than the crap they sell now at Lowe's. Because I'm looking at those Craftsman toolkits at Lowe's, and they suck compared to this one I had. Like way worse. Like everything's going downhill. And Craftsman's not a great brand, but this particular toolkit that I had every metric and SAE ratchet size known to man. It had 3 different size ratchets. It had all the little doodads and connectors. It had Allen wrenches. It had bit drivers. It had pretty much every freaking tool that you would need in a snap closed case. All the other brands that I'm looking at, they only sell ratchet sets. This had like lots of other stuff. And so that has saved me on multiple road trips, having to fix something on the fly. It's also come in handy having these tools in my trunk, because if I'm at somebody's house or business and somebody has something broken and they don't have any tools, I can be like, hold on a minute. I can go out to the car, come in with this thing. It's pretty much got everything you're going to need in it. And I also keep a little tool bag with things like an OBD scanner, a tire pump, a compact tire pump, a jump starter kit, like all kinds of just car specific stuff in a separate bag. And I just build up the tools and I try to keep myself prepared. Tire patch kit, plugs, tire patch, reamer, all of the pieces for that, so that I can fix a flat tire on the side of the road without having to put a spare tire on, and needing what I need to change the tire out. So I try to keep all that stuff. And so I was looking around and I had to dig, but I found the exact same Craftsman toolkit that I used to carry on Amazon for $130, when the ones that are selling, the junkier ones that are selling at Lowe's now, are about $150. So I bookmarked it, but I'm not ready to buy it yet because I'm trying to do too many things and I just don't want to burn through all my money. So I've got that bookmarked. I know I can get the exact toolkit I used to carry. There's better tools out there. Yeah, no shit. Snap-on tools are a lot nicer than Craftsman. And, there's other brands that are probably better. DeWalt, Icon seems to be pretty good. But this particular toolkit was like a really nice all-around, has everything in a organized box. Yeah, spare fuses. I used to carry spare light bulbs, reverse lights or blinker lights. I had those in my bag, fuses, anything that comes up. Like if I have to replace a fuse, oh shit, get a bunch of fuses, throw them in the bag. I'm on a road trip. The last thing I want is my brake light being the reason a cop pulls me over when I'm 2,000 miles from home. So I've changed brake lights in the parking lots when somebody told me that my brake light was out, or I realized it at a campsite, or whatever the case may be. So anyway, yeah. So I'm starting that process from scratch, building a car toolkit. So anyway, I want to get a nice ratchet set, but I'm just going to put that on pause. It's going to cost a lot of money. For me, a lot of money. But anyway, I'll have it in the car. If I need it for something in the house, I can just go grab it. It's just good to have. But I found out today, I went into the trunk to look at what I've got for the spare tire kit, and I've got the donut spare tire and the lug nut wrench, but it's missing. I don't know how I didn't notice this one, but the scissor jack and the lug nut key is missing. And I'm like, motherfuck. The missing lug nut key is a big deal. That could end up being a huge pain in the ass to deal with. Either I'm going to have to do some ghetto thing. So anyway, I'm either going to have to do some ghetto thing to get the lug nut off and put a regular one on. A mechanic is going to charge me for that. Like, I just was like, oh man, if I get a flat tire, I'm going to be screwed without that stupid ass key. The first thing I ever do one of the first things I do when I buy a vehicle that has that shit, I take them off and put regular lug nuts on. Boom, problem solved. But today, you need a little tool with a hook to pull the lug nut covers off of this car. They have these plastic covers on them. And so a bicycle spoke is the perfect tool for it. So I went out there before the stream earlier today and I pulled all the lug nut covers off the wheels. Turns out the owner who owned this car before me changed all the lug nuts to regular lug bolts, without any need for a key. So I'm like, boom, we're good. The lug nut wrench that's in the trunk will work. Keyed lug nuts suck balls. They're the worst. They don't do anything. I mean, so I don't know, man. I hate those things. I always take them off my car and get regular lug bolts or lug nuts, whatever the car takes. But I don't have to worry about it on this car. It doesn't have them. The previous owner did what I would have done. So opened up the trunk and I was looking for the spare tire. I didn't notice that the jack was missing, but my mind was in 1,000 places. So I don't, not beating myself up too hard for that one. It's easy to get a jack. I've kept scissor lift jacks from old cars many times in my life because I always have uses for them around the house that go above and beyond. So there's been a lot of times I'll take that shit out of the car before I trade in the car. I guess I'm just as much of a dick as, anybody else there. But see, the lug nut keys, these lug nut keys are just a pain. First of all, they're really not going to stop a thief from getting your wheels off. A thief is going to be able to take those off without too much problem. They're going to have the right tool to do it. If they're coming out to steal, if they're coming over to take your wheels, they're already prepared for a locking lug nut key. But those lug nut keys might stop you from getting your wheels off of your car when you need to. You're stuck on the side of the road trying to fix a flat tire and that lug nut key strips out. Mechanics hate them. They cause more problems than they solve. I don't want them on my car. I hate those things. So if I'm ever going to park at a place where I feel like I'm going to walk outside and see my car up on cinder blocks with no wheels, then I'm not going to park there, period. That's the solution to that problem. Don't fucking park there. It seems like a good rule of thumb to follow. You'll be able to keep your wheels if you just follow these handy tips. If you're in a neighborhood with bars on the windows of everybody's house, particle board covering the windows instead of glass, maybe the house numbers are spray painted on the side of the house instead of ornamental numbers that you get from Home Depot or even stickers on the mailbox, then do you really have a good reason to park there and walk away from your car? I mean, the only legitimate reason that I could even think of to park there would be if you're waiting to pick up a $5 hooker or a bag of crack. I mean, those are the two legit reasons you might have for wanting to park there. And even in that case, you're probably not going to go too far from your car or even get out of the car. So I don't know. Don't park in places that look like you'll come back to your car with the wheels missing and just stay out the ghetto. You'll be fine. You don't need locking lug nuts on your freaking wheels. That it's just going to cause you more problems than it's worth. Philly and Minneapolis, yeah, like don't go to Philly. Anytime I'm going to go around Philadelphia where I think I'm going to be in a neighborhood that I don't want to be in, I will park in the nice part of Philadelphia, get on a bicycle and go where I'm going. If I'm on it, like if I'm going around taking pictures of the city or whatever, same with Minneapolis, I would be like, well, this looks like a very nice neighborhood. I'm going to park here next to all these rich people's houses, and I'm going to get on my bicycle and go for a ride and see what's up. And I'm going to go where I'm actually trying to go. So that's it. That's it, man. Take a bicycle with you. Take a folding bike in your trunk. You can get one of those for a couple $100, no problem. On Craigslist or Facebook, get a folding bike, keep it in your trunk. I used to do that as preparedness with my Grand Am because it was such a piece of garbage car. I had a folding bicycle in the trunk at all times, along with my tool bags and stuff in the trunk, because that car could break down at any minute. And I'm like, well, at least I can get home on a folding bicycle. And then folding bike came in handy for other reasons. But that was one of the things I used it for. But I keep finding new problems with the car every day. I haven't made an official like spreadsheet list yet, but some of the problems I might never bother with fixing. I don't want to sink all of my money into a used car. I want to keep it nice as I can, but I don't know. We all know that within a couple of months of driving a car off the lot, you're going to start having issues with it. And my choices were down to a 2012 Passat with 147,000 miles on it, or a 2006 Corolla with 167,000 miles on it. Would the Toyota be problem free? They're dependable. There's less electronic bullshit to deal with. It's a little bit more of a regular car. So I don't know. Did the cool factor of the Passat is a cooler car? Straight up, if you're choosing between the two cars, there's no question about the Passat being a cooler car. People have mixed opinions. Scotty, if you go to Scotty Kilmer's YouTube channel, he hates every single car there is. You can find a video of him talking shit about every car you'll ever buy. So it doesn't matter. Like, don't listen to him because, he hates every car. I don't know. Like, I second guess myself, and I will be. There's problems this car has. Yeah, Scotty's great. I love him, but he hates every car. I have seen him talk crap about every car that exists, even the ones he likes. There'll be another video saying he hates it. So you got to take him with a grain of salt sometimes. I have a little bit of room financially to deal with some of the problems I found on the car. I don't feel like the car's just going to break down on me anytime soon. But there's a couple of significant things that I feel like I want to fix sooner than later. I may have to go pay a mechanic $500 to replace a transmission sensor. And I haven't found a mechanic that I can trust here in Houston since I just got a car the other day and I haven't needed to find a mechanic. I don't know anybody here. I don't know anybody here well enough to even trust them to tell me if a good mechanic. My best friend and his wife, they bought brand new cars and they're still under warranty. They go to the dealer if anything's wrong. They don't pay. So I don't have anybody to give me a recommendation for a mechanic. There's a transmission shop at the end of my road, walking distance from here. And there's a smaller garage around the corner from that. So the transmission shops looks to be more full service. I stopped and talked to the guy one day because he had some cars for sale. And I looked around and I could see their tools and I could see what they have. They look to be pretty full service, that they could fix anything you bring to them. The other garage is like one of those little tiny garages that do oil changes and basic shit. So I might call both garages to get a price, how much to replace this sensor. I expect that the small garage might say we won't do it. And it may not need to be replaced. It seems like it might just need an adjustment. I don't know if it can be adjusted though. That's the thing. And I'm kind of like, I'm driving the car. I don't, if it acts worse than it's currently acting, I'll deal with it if I have to. Otherwise, I'm going to take a month and just drive around and see what it does. So anyway, the both of the garages get good reviews on Google Maps, and there's enough reviews, hundreds of reviews, so it can't just be friends and family leaving good reviews. You don't, nobody has 200 friends and family leaving reviews that are all 5-star. And of course, they're going to, the 1-star reviews, when you read the review, it's like, well, that person's an idiot. I would give them a 1-star review as a customer. Like you see that on Amazon too. You see some people leave a 1-star review and it has nothing to do with the product or the seller. I ordered the wrong size shirt. Well, dummy, order the right size shirt. It's not their fault. They sent you the size you ordered. You're going to give them a 1-star. So anyway, so I need a good scan tool that can read all the codes that the Volkswagen will throw. My basic bitch $25 OBD scanner isn't going to work for this car. It might pick up some things, but it's not good. The scan tool was good for my 2008 Wrangler, my 2003 Mini Cooper. Anytime the check engine light came on, that scan tool would tell me exactly what was wrong. It was always dead accurate. $25 Walmart OBD scanner. I could reset codes and they would never reappear, telling me that whatever it was just like a fluke. Maybe a sensor's starting to go bad, but it'll probably, maybe a year from now I'll have to replace it, but I don't got to run to the shop tomorrow to do it. I could go to AutoZone and have them scan it, but I've been doing my homework. There are some recommended scanners that the Volkswagen fans like. I can get it as cheap as $70 to cover my needs. And of course, they go up from there. $70 to $140 are the two scanners that I'm looking at in terms of price range. I'm not quite, I don't know if I want to spend that money right now. So the problem my car has is I discovered this at the car wash. It's the neutral safety switch, the transmission range sensor. What it does is it tells the computer what gear you're in. So whatever gear you put the transmission in, it's an automatic transmission, but it does have the manual mode. It's a dual clutch, so you can slide the shifter over. It doesn't have paddle shifters on the steering wheel, but you can put it in this bullshit manual mode and bump the stick up and down to go up and down in 6. Yeah, I mean, vehicles, I could get the Snap-on Soleus 2 scanner, and it's like $4,500. I mean, the scan tool for your car can be as expensive as you want it to be. For my needs, the $70 one will probably be good. So, yeah, I've driven the Volkswagens with the paddle shifters on the steering wheel and played around with those before. They're fun. This one's got the same thing. It's just on the stick. I mean, I haven't really had anywhere to go. I don't know if the cheap OBD is not working. It just doesn't show me any codes. But from what I understand, all the control modules for Volkswagen, there's a separate control module for the transmission, the engine, the airbags. So all those codes, like the airbag light being on and whatever's going on with the transmission, if it's showing a code, I can't read it. I've done, believe me, I do my homework on this shit. I don't go to an auto garage without as much knowledge as I can and making a decision. Yeah, that's too much of a pain in my ass. I'll pay somebody to fix it for me. So the first thing I'm going to do about the airbag lights, go under the passenger seat and see if I can do that with the cable connection and fix it. I mean, I'm not in a hurry. The car drives fine. But what the sensor does is it tells the computer what gear you're in. So I had to go to the car wash, or I didn't have to, but I went to the car wash the other day. And so what happened is I had to put it in neutral to go through the car wash, and it said I was in reverse. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I pull it back into drive, and it says I'm in drive. And then I bump it forward one notch, and it says I'm in reverse. I'm like, what the fuck? And I didn't realize the car is actually in neutral, but the light on the stick is showing that it's in reverse. Put it in reverse, and it's because I've played around with this some more. So you go from park into reverse, the car is in reverse. You put it in neutral, the car is in neutral. It is in neutral. You put it one more back and it's in drive. When it's in neutral, the car says it's in reverse. But all you got to do is pull the stick back like a millimeter, and the light changes to show that it's in neutral. So it's like a stretched cable, or it's some sort of shit that's just slightly off. And then the neutral, or the sport mode, which is at the back of the shifting rack, whatever you call it, the range of shift, the range. It's the sport mode. When I pull it all the way back, it doesn't show sport mode on the dashboard, or the light doesn't light up. It still says I'm in drive. And I haven't played it. Like I've gone on short drives with the car, so I haven't like really taken time with this. But when it's in neutral and it's showing that it's in reverse, all I got to do is pull back like a millimeter on the thing, and it shows that I'm now in neutral. So to keep the guy at the car wash from freaking out that my reverse lights were turning on, I just held the thing a little bit back and let the thing coast through the car wash. And then when I got to the other side, I was like, boom, into drive and drove away. So I don't know. To me, it feels like it could be adjusted. It should be something that you can just twist a barrel adjuster on a cable and fix. But this is all computerized garbage now. So I don't know. That might just be some electronic bullshit that when it goes, and you got to replace it. And there you can get them for different prices. Directly from Volkswagen, brand new, it's a $500 part. But you can find people selling them for $300 that quick. But it's not a cheap part. It's not hard to replace. It's not hard to replace, but I may have to replace it. And I assume if I go to this transmission shop, it's already in my head that if it has to be replaced, I'm going to pay about $500. I'm still not that deep into the car. I'm still not even up to what the guy wanted $4,600 for it. If I have to fix a $500 thing to make the car better, I'm still not even up to the asking price, and I'm still not up to the $5,200 I almost spent on another vehicle. So I'm okay with that, but I'm going to do, if I don't have to fix it till next month, then fine, I'll wait. It's not really doing anything wrong. It's just annoying. It's annoying, and if that sensor is going bad, you could get to a point where the sensor doesn't read that the car is in park, and then the car won't start, and that could be a pain in the ass. And there's no engine issues. The first night I owned the car, I put a bunch of cardboard under it. I wanted to see if anything was dripping. Cardboard's clean. I don't got any weird smells. There's really nothing wrong under the hood. Car drives nice. The manual mode works great. I don't know if, I got to figure out like what's the best technique to use. When I shift, should I take my foot off the gas each time I change gears and then push back down after the gear changes? Or are they designed to just keep the gas to the floor and just bump? Because I don't want to wear out the clutches on the transmission by, treating it like garbage. So I've been playing around with the manual mode, but I take my foot off the gas every time I shift and then push back down after it shifts just to keep, because it's a dual clutch. I don't want to wear out the clutches. So let's see. But I'm not going to drive it around like that much, but it was fun. It's a fast car. It's a 5-cylinder, naturally aspirated engine. I don't know what the horsepower is. I don't care. But it is a pretty fast car when you throw it in manual mode and drive like that. And you don't, you're not even coming close to redlining it. But I can definitely get a speeding ticket in this thing. And I'm not a big giant sedan like that is not really my style. But it's a nice, comfortable car. If you're stuck riding in the back seat of this car, you're going to be riding like a mob boss. It's comfortable. It's got all four, you got plenty of leg room in the back, leather seats, comfy. It's going to comfy. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't buy? I mean, if you're going to buy a car, especially a car that's meant to drive fast, the speedometer goes up to 160 for a reason. I don't think it's nobody's going to buy a car like that and not test it. You don't buy a Subaru WRX Turbo STI to drive like grandma back and forth to the grocery store. I mean, you're gonna do what you do. But I'm not in a hurry to get a fucking speeding ticket either. So, it's just, if I get out on the highway one day and I want to let it rip, booyah. So, this car is kind of cool, but there's little things. The sunroof doesn't work. And I noticed last night, somebody with bright lights behind me I hit the button on the mirror to dim it. It wouldn't dim. And it even has sensors to automatically dim the mirror. I looked and all the wiring's gone from the mirror. And up above where the sunroof switch isn't working, there's like shit up in there that's like somebody did a number on that. I can't even imagine why someone would have screwed around with that. But that's all messed up. Is that something I want to spend money to fix? I don't know. I'm going to have to take the whole thing off and see what's going on up in there. That could just be like whatever at this point. It's just a glass sunroof. Maybe, why do I need to open it in Houston to let all the heat in? That's not something I care that much about. It's a car. But with all the computerized bullshit, I am second guessing myself. Would it have been better to go with that humble looking Toyota, very basic car? But the Volkswagen is 6 years newer than the Toyota and had 20,000 less miles on it for the same price. I might have been able to get the Toyota for 300 less than what I paid for the Volkswagen. But my curiosity is going to second guess myself the whole time. Anytime the Volkswagen breaks or has some BS that flakes out, costs me money, I'm going to be like, man, you should have bought that Toyota. And if it gets to the point where I'm irritated, where I hate it, I'm sure I'll be able to do something and just go get a different car. When you already have a car, it's easier to go get another car. Hopefully I won't have to go through the same nonsense that I went through to get this car. If I need to get a new car later, I think I'll be all right. But all this electronic bullshit in these cars, the newer the car, the worse the car, in my opinion. That's kind of why I wanted to go look at that 1999 Mercedes, because I'm like, that's old enough that it's still a car. The cars that from the 90s are still cars. Like, you can fix them. You can, you know what I mean? It's not like these new cars that you got to pay for a fucking subscription just to drive the car. like the BMW with the heated seats that you got to pay a subscription for. My car has heated seats. I don't got to pay a subscription for them. I don't know if they work. I mean, I live in Houston. It's 90 degrees outside. I don't really feel like testing the heated seats right now, but they're there. They might work. I don't know. Volkswagen has a subscription now for extra horsepower on your car that you have to pay them a monthly fee to unlock. Like, that's like buying a fucking video game and then you got to pay like $200 for all the DLC content and you can't even really play the game. You pay $60 for the game and then $200 to actually play the game. Like, they're doing that with the car now. DLC for your car. Like, what the fuck, man? And these cars can't even be fixed anymore. You get a brand new electric car, and the car will be in perfectly good, drivable condition. Nothing wrong with the car, but the battery doesn't hold a charge anymore. And somehow the battery magically costs more than the fucking car. How do they even make a profit selling the car? And then you turn around and need a new battery, and the battery costs more than the car. That doesn't make any sense at all. So you're going to see landfills filled with perfectly good electric cars that have absolutely nothing wrong with them, except they need a battery, and you can't buy a battery. You could buy a brand new car for less than the battery. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So no, I mean, like, but it's not just cars. Look at this. I'm going to pull up something here. I'll share my screen. This is freaking hilarious. You got to see this. Here we go. Boom. Samsung confirms that if you pay $1,800 for a refrigerator with a giant screen on it, they're going to start showing you ads on your fucking refrigerator screen. Like, I don't even know why. Why are people buying a refrigerator with a giant fucking screen on it in the first place? Like, you can't get away from Netflix binge watching long enough to go to the fridge and get a fucking snack. I don't understand that at all. Don't understand that at all. But now you're gonna go to get something out of the fridge, and your fridge is running some ad on the front of the fridge, like all these stupid ads that you see of the video games where the guy's running down the path and he's shooting all the zombies, and then boom, gets a coin or something, and he gets more guns. Boom, 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 and the zombies are dying. But then there's like some big giant zombie coming at you, and you shoot a barrel, and like you get a bigger gun, and like, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody's seen these ads. You can't scroll YouTube without seeing these stupid ads for these. You're gonna see these dumbass ads on the front of your refrigerator. Are they at least gonna be running ads like, here's what's on sale at HEB this week on the front of your fridge? Like, you're going to pay $1,800 for a fucking refrigerator, and then you're probably going to have to subscribe or pay Samsung a monthly fee to not see advertisements on your fucking fridge. Now, all these cars with the giant computer screens now, are they going to start running ads in your car when you get in the car? Here's what Blue Sky says. Before I bought the Cruises, I looked at a Nissan Leaf. They wanted $10K, but it was battery replacement time, and that was going to be $18K. I got 2 used Cruises for that price. No kidding. I was on Carvana just poking around just to see what the cheapest cars they had. They had, was it the Nissan Leaf? No, it was the worse. So worse than the Nissan Leaf, it was the Smart 4.2 electric car, the little tiny stupid ass smart car. They had those for like $9,000, almost brand new. But I looked up the replacement cost of the battery on the Smart 4.2, $30,000 to replace the battery on this fucking car. $30,000 to replace the battery on an electric smart car. And that's the dumbest most idiotic car I've ever seen in my life. I mean, if you're bad at parallel parking, maybe that's the car for you. But other than that, I don't know why anybody would even want to own one of those. The only, I guess, maybe if I lived in a crowded city and I had two other vehicles and I wanted something to just get around town on, I still couldn't bring myself to buy one of those, but I was curious. And I'm like, it's like the cheapest electric car right now, at least Carvana. And I was like, oh, what's that battery going to cost? $30,000 for a car that you paid $9,000 for. It may have even been $6,000 for the car, but nine seems more right because Carvana doesn't sell older cars. Yeah, I'd be scared. The smart car is the one car that I could get into an accident with while I'm out on my bicycle, and the driver of the smart car might get hurt more than me. But otherwise, I'm not going to get into an accident with another vehicle on the road and be the one that's walking away in better shape. But a smart car, I might actually hurt the driver more than the driver hurts me if I'm on my bicycle. I'd rather be on my bicycle than riding around in a smart car. If I pulled into the bakery with a freaking smart car, I would get made fun of more by the girls at the bakery for driving a smart car than I get made fun of for riding my bicycle for a year and some change without ever having a car of my own. It would be better for me to just keep riding my bike to the bakery than to show up in a smart car any day of the week. But yeah, Samsung is going to put ads on your fridge. Like, are you going to buy a Tesla and then have to watch ads on your dashboard all day? I don't get it. Like, who's buying this crap? Do I got to fucking pay a subscription to use my oven? I'm going to buy a Samsung oven and I have to pay for a heating subscription or the oven doesn't work. Like, get me the fuck out of here. That's why I don't want a car that's new. That's why I was kind of like a little bit concerned that maybe the Volkswagen Passat with its electronic doodadery might drive me crazy compared to the humble Toyota. But I made my choice at this point. So maybe I'll hate the car in 6 months. Maybe I'll just be like, you know what? Fuck this car. I'll put it up for sale for $4,600 and see if I can make a profit. And I'll sell it. I'll trade it in, whatever. I'll get a different car. At least I've got a car. So I'm okay. It doesn't seem like it's going to drop dead anytime soon. People are saying in the Volkswagen forums that they get 200, 250,000 miles out of these with maintenance and care. This car really doesn't seem like it's been neglected. It's had multiple owners. I don't want to pay $45 for a Carfax, but I might. But I have looked up the VIN number to find out as much as I can find out for free, and it doesn't seem like I don't see anything scary, but I know it's been owned by I'm at least the third owner. I don't know. But anyway, it gave me money. It gave me money left over. So I was able to get a car, a bed. I'm able to do things around the house that I needed to do. Yeah, I mean, JS says supposedly any car after 2016, they gather metadata on your driving. Of course they do. Like Progressive, I signed up with their insurance for now because you can do it all online and 5 minutes later you get your insurance card. All the quotes that I got from other companies, I went and got them. I didn't rely on their thing. All the other quotes were the same. So I'm like, screw it. I'll just go here. And I'll shop around after about a month and see if I can get a better rate. But for now, I'm just going to stick, with what I got. But I'm able to do other things now on top of the car and solve more problems because I got so under my budget. I got a car for 2 grand under my budget, and my budget was lower than the money I received. So I'm doing okay. Um, I could have gone above my budget and tried to finance for something nicer. And then what? I'm just going to be scrambling every month trying to make a car payment. At least with a car, I can work more hours at the bakery. There's other things I can do there. But so, like, I can do things like I've been talking about. I need a hard drive upgrade because I'm running out of space to back up my video files and stuff. And Seagate had a deal going on for 14 terabyte hard drives for $200. I need 2 of them because I mirror them. So 1 is none, 2 is 1. I always back up my stuff to 2 separate drives. And then I usually keep 1 drive separate from keep them in separate places. So the 14 terabyte drives for $200 they're gone. And they have 22 terabyte drives now from Seagate for about $250. I have a bunch of Seagate drives. They're good. They're fine, especially if you got 2 of them. So that's 8 extra terabytes if I shell out for the 22 terabyte drives. And after dumping all of my files onto those 2 drives, then all the empty hard drives that I have would add up to at least 12 more terabytes on mirrored drives. So that's 24 terabytes worth of drives that would be empty, that as backup drives, I would get 12 terabytes of space out of. So that if I get a pair of 22 terabyte drives, that will probably cover my storage needs for like the next year. At least another year. For a backup drive, definitely don't get solid state. You're talking about needing an external backup drive. The solid states are fast, temporary. Basically, a solid state's not much different than a flash card, a SD card in your camera or phone. Yeah, it could last a while, but they have a certain number of read writes before they start to flake out. And they're not as dependable as a mechanical drive with a magnetic disk. Now, any hard drive can fail. That's why I recommend using 2 simultaneously. I don't need a RAID array. A RAID array might be a stack of 5 or 6 hard drives that are all mirrored and all have the same stuff on them and automatically keep everything in synchronization with each other. So if one drive goes bad, you still have all your files. I just use rsync, which is a command line synchronization tool, and I use 2 hard drives, and it works fine for me. So I keep my MacBook has a built-in SSD, solid state drive, keep it clean. That way, all the software can access the hard drive directly. Like Photoshop uses what's called scratch disk space to do operations and complicated things, and so does video editing software and all of that. Solid state drives are best for that because they're super fast. So your operating system, your software, having an empty solid state drive plugged into your USB port will give you lightning fast speed in Photoshop and stuff like that. Temporarily putting your files on solid state drives would be fine. Like, I could recommend having a solid state drive for your files that you work on all the time, but using a mechanical drive to back those up to. That way, if the solid state drive fails, you still have the backups. Both drives don't need to be mechanical drives, but if you're trying to long-term store files, get a mechanical drive with a plate and a magnetic, like a physical drive, because they will last longer than a solid state drive, but they're not as fast. So SSD is when you need speed. Mechanical is when you need long-term longevity. But they can all fail. That's why I always do it in pairs. So my entire photography library going back 25 years, I will never, ever have that stored in one place, ever, because that's too much heartache for me to lose if I lost it all. And so, and then I'm looking into cloud storage but to get cloud storage for 22 terabytes worth of data is much different than a Dropbox account or a Google Drive account. You got to look around. You got to find like a good deal for that. They're out there though. And you got to keep in mind that that's like your last resort, because think about how long it takes to download files. Like an Xbox update for a video game might be 100 gigabytes and it takes all day. So imagine trying to download 22 terabytes from your cloud storage backup if your hard drives fail and you've got to get it all down from the cloud. In fact, a lot of these backup services that store that much data, they'll send you a hard drive in the mail with all your stuff on it as part of your fee. And then you can either keep the hard drive that they send you and they'll charge you for it, or you take your files off of it and send the hard drive back to them and you get your deposit back. So yeah, but for important files, docs, pictures, computer image backups, all that stuff, primary external drive, that's a mechanical drive. If you use 2 drives, your primary drive could be an SSD. I wouldn't be uncomfortable with that, but always have it backed up to a regular drive as well, or an old school hard drive. So for, but a 22 terabyte solid state drive is going to cost a hell of a lot more than $250. But from Seagate, I can get a pair of those for $250 a piece. And that will cover my storage needs for more than a year from now, maybe longer, maybe 2 years. I don't know yet. I can kind of calculate based on how much storage I go through currently as things accumulate. 22 terabytes I would at least a year before I even got to think about storage again, other than cloud. And cloud is like 1 is none, 2 is 1, third is, 2. But that's third low on his last resort. And you're paying an annual fee for that. And it's not even that expensive. I've got a couple bookmarked. One of these days, I'm just going to do it. And it'll probably take 2 months to upload all of my files to that cloud backup service running in the background, just when my computer's not really being used, just feeding cloud files to that cloud. 22 terabytes, if that's what I'm uploading, will probably take 2 months, maybe 3 months. I don't even know. It'll take forever. But house burns down, all my files are gone. They'll still be in the cloud. And then I can go from there. Dropbox is okay if you don't have a lot of stuff. Google Drive, you get space for free on those services that it's not bad. There's other places to go. Proton has it. But they get way too expensive once you get above a terabyte. They're way, way, way too expensive. You'd be much better off with a different service. But Dropbox, Google Drive, and all that stuff is meant to be highly accessible. The cloud backups I'm talking about are literally like store it and forget it. Probably using command line tools to keep them in. Like I'll probably be able to use rsync to keep my hard drives that I want to synchronize synchronized with that cloud service. So whatever changes on my hard drive, file gets deleted on it, gets deleted from the cloud. File gets changed on the cloud. New file is added, new file goes to the cloud. Whatever you do will get mirrored here and there automatically by just running a command every day or every other day or whatever you do. But aside from that, I've got a list of things I'm trying to do. But money-wise, I also got to be careful because September has been very, very unproductive in terms of making money for me this month. All I've done all month is shop for a car, ride my bicycle all over the place, sleep. I've worked less hours at the bakery because I've gotten sent home on certain days when we're dead. So I didn't even get a full range of hours there. My freelance is taking a back seat to some of this stuff. And so I'm behind. Some people are asking me if I'm going to take more bakery shifts now that I got a car. And the answer is yes, maybe. But there's also like this mentality that some people, and I've been dealing with this my entire life, not just since I got out of prison. There are some people that basically believe that I should just shut up, go to work, and bust my ass at some job making $10 an hour for 40, 80 hours a week and just suck it up, buttercup, and do that. And my freelance work pays me anywhere from 2.5 times that amount, and that's if I'm giving someone a good deal, to up to 10 times more than that per hour. Every single job in my line of work, from what I was doing before, $60 an hour is the minimum pay for a job like that. That's the minimum. I interviewed for a job in Pittsburgh and I made it to the 3rd round, and they were going to pay $270,000 a year for that job. And I didn't think I would get that job even without the criminal record and all that for different reasons. But that was the league that I was in. It was a possibility I could make that much. For me, I would have to find a startup that doesn't care about the criminal record and just wants me to come in and do the work for them. And that's not as easy to find as it sounds. But I've talked about, and I'm not making fun of people when I say this, because as soon as I say it, someone's going to get mad and be like, fuck you, and blah, blah, blah. But it's that blue collar mentality that I talked about many times. And I'm saying don't get offended, because blue collar jobs can be very lucrative. And you don't have to go to school. You don't have to incur debt from going to college. You can get out and working early in your life, and you can make a ton of money. But the blue collar work is never lucrative unless the blue collar person breaks out of the blue collar mentality and takes on an entrepreneurial mentality and becomes a business owner or a hustler or somebody who goes out and does things, instead of somebody who just shows up to punch a time clock and go home every day. So those people who just go punch their time clock, do their time, and come home, they're all my life. And I'm talking about from when I was like 12 years old, all my life. Those are the people that keep telling me to abandon all my hopes and dreams, my plans, stop playing the long game, and just go toil away at some dead-end $10 an hour job like everybody else does. And that's like one phrase. That's one phrase that these people always use, like everybody else has to do. Like you're not special anymore. You got to go and suck it up and get a real job like everybody else. Like what I was doing before is not a real job, for crying out loud. Skilled labor, auto mechanics, welders, plumbers, electricians, truck drivers. How many people have told me to shut up and go drive a truck since I was homeless? As if you can just, walk down to the truck driving place and say, get the keys to a big rig and start driving a truck tomorrow. Construction work, carpentry, all that crap can pay. You can make millions of dollars doing that. But a lot of those people can make more money than I've ever made. So that's not the blue collar work. It's just this mentality that I talk about. Like, for example, the mechanic that I used to take my car to, I used to get the friend and family discount. He was the husband of the woman who owned the house I used to live in. He was making $1 million a year from his auto garage that sat on his own property. Plus, he had other things going on, like property that he owned and rented and things like that. This dude's about as blue collar as it gets, and he makes over $1 million a year. Easily. Dude's rolling in money. But the difference is this guy, he didn't just put on his blue prison jumpsuit and go punch a time clock at Jiffy Lube for 8 hours a day and then come home and plop down on the lazy boy and watch TV all night. He took his knowledge and experience and he built himself a successful business. When I was arrested, he had just broken ground on a new building on a main road off of his property because he was getting up in age and he wanted to sell his auto business, but he still wanted to have his massive garage on his own property so that he could retire and just fuck around with building drag strip monsters out of classic cars and things like that. He just wanted to do fun stuff. So he was in the process of building a new garage that's off of his property so that his business could be sold and he could get out of it and just retire and play with cars. So, I mean, you can do that, but that if he had the blue collar mentality I'm talking about, he would have just showed up at Jiffy Lube or Firestone or whatever the fuck, punched his clock, worked his 8 to 12 hours, go home, make his minimum wage or, his $20 an hour and say, well, that's the best I can do. No, he actually busted his ass and built something with his skills and knowledge. So, right now I trudge along at a bakery where if I'm lucky, the best I would ever be able to do at this bakery would be getting the general manager job. And then I would have to work 70 hours a week. Maybe I'd make $20 an hour. I don't even know if it's a salary. She might make a salary and work 70 hours a week, which would fuck, man. I'm making more than her if that's the case. I don't know what she makes. She'd probably tell me if I asked her in private in a way that didn't offend, like I can ask people things like that in a way that's not going to offend them, where I'm just want to be knowledgeable and know, like, what does that job pay out of curiosity? And she had a job that she loved before this bakery. I mean, I don't think she hates working there. She doesn't act like it. I don't think it's what she wants to do. She had a job that was very different before that. Something happened. We all have that, but something happened story. We don't really talk about all of it. But anyway, she became the general manager. All that stuff happened before I came to the bakery. Right about the time I started working there, all this stuff was happening. So I don't really know the whole story. But anyway, I could bust my ass and work my way up the fast food ladder, and the highest I'm ever going to go is $20 an hour. And I'm like, at the low end, at the lowest of the low end, I can make more than that doing freelance, sitting in front of my computer right now. And that's for a good friend that I'm doing it for. And we're kind of like, in exchange for me working regular hours for him, he's getting a good price on the work that I'm doing. And we're just and we're friends and we're cool like that right now. If this car allows me to get the energy that I need back in my life to grow that business, I could be making 50 to 75 an hour full time and not have to go to the bakery at all. So I don't have the mentality like, oh, I got to buckle down and get more hours at the bakery. I'm trying to ditch that life and I'm going to make some actual money. And I'm not like trying to live lavishly and get 10 mansions and a Bentley. I'm just trying to do what's best for me. And if the best use of my time can make me more money than working at a dead end job, I mean, there's nobody in their right mind who wouldn't do that. It's just not going to be easy for me to do it because of my criminal record now. So everything's going to be much harder. But I'm playing the long game all the time. I'll do what I have to do to survive in the short term, but all my major decisions are all long term. Even yesterday, I went to Target. I was looking for bedding. And I was like, do I get the cheapest stuff I can find or do I get nicer stuff? And it's Target. It's not like I spent a little bit more money and got all nice stuff for my bed. Why? Because I'm going to get a better night's sleep, and I'm not going to have to, like, it's not like I'm going to be going out and buying bedding over and over again. It's a one-time thing. The money will find its way back to me somehow. I'll do more work. If I get better energy, if I do the things now that I need to do to improve my energy, my body battery from Garmin showed it was 100% on Tuesday, and that was the day before I bought a bed. Like, if I get better energy, then I'll have more productive time, which will turn into more income. And so it's the right move. And, you know, I did cheap out. I bought the cheapest iron. I got an ironing board that wasn't the cheapest one because the cheap ones are garbage. I'm like, it's not like, when am I going to buy an ironing board ever again? The only way that's going to happen is if the FBI drives another tank into my fucking house and drags me off to prison again. So, or something other crazy shit happens and I lose everything again. So I get a little bit nicer ironing board. Their ironing boards are stupid expensive, but I didn't buy the most expensive one. I shopped around a little bit. Target had the right one for the right price. That's the primary reason I went to Target yesterday. But so this whole, like, with the time and energy to grow from here, I hope to be making more money down the road because of it. So I'm playing the long game. I'm not playing the short-term game. I need to buy some tools. I don't need Snap-on tools. There aren't any good thrift stores. Number one, you need to go to thrift stores more often on a bicycle. I need to go to thrift stores more often. I just got a car like 3 days ago. I'm ripping on you. I'm just having fun. So, yeah, I'm not calling you a jerk, or don't get offended. I'm just pointing out, going to thrift stores on a bicycle. The only thrift store close to me is a Goodwill, and it sucked balls. I did go in there. They didn't have nothing. They had nothing, and everything was overpriced because Goodwill's just out of their minds now. You'll pay more for something at Goodwill than you'll pay for the same thing brand new. And believe me, if we were in Pittsburgh, I know what thrift stores to go to. Red, white, and blue on Route 51, booyah. They got everything you're going to want. I used to go there. I used to go to Red, white, and blue at least twice a month. I know how to rock the thrift stores, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, all of it. Certain things are better to buy new. I'm looking for a better vacuum cleaner. I'm only looking on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Because why go buy a vacuum cleaner for 4 times? I can get the one I'm looking for $30. It would be $120 at the store. I'm not buying it at the store. So, but now that I've got a car, I can do this. But I mean, how am I going to carry the vacuum cleaner home on a bicycle, even if I bought it? Like, logistically, it just wasn't there. So yeah, I'm going to be going to the thrift. I'll find wherever the good thrift stores are in Houston, but lately I haven't found any. I don't know where they are. But I'm looking. Yard sales. If I see a yard sale sign, I'm stopping. My grandparents taught me right when I was a kid. Man, we used to go yard sailing all the time when I was growing up. My parents didn't do shit to teach me any of this. My grandfather and grandmother taught me how to haggle and how to find good deals. If there's a thrift store in Pittsburgh, anybody from Pittsburgh knows what I'm talking about. Red, white, and blue on Route 51. That is the thrift store of thrift stores. They have their problems, and they have some overpriced shit going on. I'm telling you, though, I would say it's more good than bad. Way more good than bad. But Goodwill sucks. Everywhere you go, Goodwill sucks. I couldn't even begin to tell you the deals I've found. Okay, I'll tell you one deal at the Red, White, and Blue thrift store. Two things that are funny. Red, White, and Blue thrift store had a Bible illustrated by Salvador Dali in a case up front. So that's where all the expensive stuff was. $25. $25 I had to pay to get my hands on that. I kept it for a number of years. Sold that thing for $500 on eBay. After I was moving, I was looking for extra money. I was selling off some things that I didn't want. Like I had no place to keep this fancy Bible. Maybe God will be mad at me for selling a Bible, whatever. It was illustrated by Salvador Dali. It's a relatively, if you collect his stuff, it would be something you're after. I bought it for $25 at the Red, White, and Blue, sold it for $500 on eBay, probably 10 years after I bought it. Thing was cool, but not that cool. There's plenty of other things I've done at that thrift store that were amazing deals. Bought my favorite pair of skis I ever owned from them, $25 for a brand new pair of skis. And when I took them to the ski shop to get them fitted to me, because I'm looking at these skis, I'm like, this is not the normal skis that show up at the thrift store. These are some nice ones. I forget the name, Rossignol. I don't know which, they were K2s. 170s, size, my perfect size. They were perfect for me. And they were like brand new. And I took them to a ski shop down the street, and they said that so ski bindings, ski shops will only work on ski bindings up to a certain year after the skis are made, because they are not held liable if you break your leg or something like that. It's all lawsuits and stuff like that. It's called an indemnification list. I used to work in a bicycle ski shop. It's called an indemnification list. So I took these skis right to the ski shop to get them fitted to me. And they said that these bindings were on their final year of being on the indemnification list. So they had no problem fitting them to me. They said, and doing the release checks and everything to go with them. They said that if I had brought them the next season, they wouldn't be able to work on them legally. Like they won't touch them if they're a certain age. From there, I know what I'm doing with the skis. I could do it myself. Like a lot of stuff I knew how to do. I didn't have all the tools and all the things, and I really didn't want to do it myself because it's a pain. And I don't like working on skis, but I like skiing. I got these skis for $25. My boots, I had to kind of go back and forth over time. I ended up buying 3 pair of boots on Craigslist before I bought a pair that I liked. I would buy a pair, I'd go skiing, they didn't fit right. I would sell them, buy another pair, ski. Third time was a charm. The third time I bought boots, they were the best boots I ever owned. Fit me perfectly. Brand spanking new boots. I got them for like $100. They would have been. So for $125, I had a whole ski outfit. Boots, skis. I even had, for like $20, I got a pair of ski blades. I ended up destroying them in a crash. But I had ski blades for a whole season. I would switch between my ski blades and my skis. I was getting season tickets to the local ski places for like nothing, pennies on the dollar through online sources. Shop around, man. You can find deals on anything. But when you're stuck riding a bicycle everywhere, maybe not. Thrift stores were not. Amazon's been my friend. I'm never getting groceries delivered again now that I have a car. Another awesome benefit of having a car. There's 2. So in Houston, I don't know about outside. In Houston, there's a grocery store called HEB. There are I don't think in Montgomery County or Harris County I don't think anywhere you can stand would be less than 4 miles from at least one HEB. And all HEB stores are within 3 to 4 miles of another HEB store. There's so many of them, it's unreal. So where I'm sitting right now, there are 2 HEB stores within a 4-mile radius. One of these HEB stores is 3 miles away. I went in there one time to get a money order from the front counter. On my way into the store, there were like 4 gang-related guys walking into the store with their pants down around their knees and their underwear hanging out. And I was like, oh, fuck no. Fuck this shit. I couldn't even go into the store. I'm like, I'm not going back to fucking prison and watching all this bullshit again. I'm done. I don't have to. No, fuck it. I'll go get a money order somewhere else. But I did notice above the self-checkout line in HEB, they had a big giant sign that said maximum of 5 items at the self-checkout line. Why could that be? Perhaps. Across the street, there's a Target store. Well, not directly across the street, but like a mile away. There's a Target. In the Target there, I was just there yesterday, saw this yesterday. There will be a line at Target for the self-checkout line half hour long. Yesterday, there was a line of people going all the way around the store waiting for the self-checkout line. Yesterday, I was just there. There were 3 cashiers with nobody in line. I chose the one with the hottest checkout girl. That was how much choice I had. I had a whole cart full of stuff. There were 3 open lines with cashiers with nobody in line. I was like, which one's got the hottest girl? I'll go there. Have her check my stuff out. That's how much choice I had to get rung up and get out of there. There were people waiting for the self-checkout line for half an hour. The line goes all the way around the store, and this is every time I ever go in that Target. What's going on at Target? Why are people in this particular neighborhood where people walk around with their pants pulled down to their knees and their underwear hanging out? Why would these people be willing to wait half an hour to use the self-checkout line when there's 3 open lines with cashiers waiting to ring up your own shit for you? I'll let you guys speculate about the possible reasons that could be. But I'm going to tell you it's the same reason that HEB has a big sign above their self-checkout line that says maximum of 5 items. Now, I told you there's an HEB that's closer to me, 4 miles away. But you know how they say you can grow up on the wrong side of the tracks? Well, here in Houston, you could be on the wrong side of Spring Creek. This is on the other side of the creek. It's 4 miles away instead of 3. You go to this HEB, people got their pants pulled up. Sometimes, some of them even got their pants pulled up higher than their belly button. Whatever, it's the exact opposite of the other HEB. That's the distance between the 2 HEBs is probably 4 miles. This HEB is nice, very nice. All the cars in the parking lot my car looks like a ghetto piece of trash in this particular HEB parking lot. My car looks like, I'm one of the poors pulling into this place. And I'm going around the store calm, peaceful. People got their pants pulled up. You can find everything you're looking for. One thing at the ghetto HEB, all the employees in the whole fucking place got a mask on their face like they're fucking Cobra Commander. Cover their faces whole, covered with like the big giant Joe Biden mask that he used to wear that covers your whole fucking face. So you can't even see anytime an employee at that store is going to talk to you, it's just going to be what? Get your fucking mask off, retard. It's 2025. It's 2025. You got 15 booster shots from Dr. Fauci. You're going to be fine. You're going to die from a heart explosion before you ever die from this bullshit disease, COVID. Take your mask off. These are all the people driving around town with the mask on their face while they sit in their car all by themselves. They're out hiking in the woods. You see them out in the woods going on a hike, out in the woods by themselves with a fucking mask on their face. It's 2025. I don't get it. Well, anyway, you go to this other HEB, the one with the nice cars in the parking lot where all the people pull their pants up and, you don't see people's underwear. I mean, if a girl wants to walk around showing me her underwear, that's fine. I'm cool with that. But not some fucking gangbanger that just got out of federal prison. I don't need to see that shit ever again. So, no, I turn around. I'm like, peace out, bitch. I'll find another place to get my money order. I probably went to the bank or something. But I was like, no, I'm never setting foot in there. Target is bad enough, but everybody in Target's got their pants pulled up because, Target people are different than Walmart people. So people, it's a different crowd at Walmart than Target. And that particular HEB was more of the Walmart crowd than the Target crowd. That's why I did all my grocery shopped at Walmart or at Target because it was right there. I could walk there very fast when I lived in the tool shed. But no, I'm not getting grocery delivery anymore. I got a car. I can go grocery shopping now. I prefer to walk around the grocery store and pick out my own stuff. And especially when I learn the grocery store and I know where everything is and I'm in and out. I got a list. I go in, I go around the outside. Pretty much everything I need is on the outside of the grocery store. That's where all the good food is, the healthy stuff. May have to zigzag a couple of aisles and I'm out. Peace out. I've already learned this grocery store because that's where I get my snobby milk because it's over where the bank is. So I've already walked around this grocery store more often, but that's my grocery store now. That's where I'm going. I'm not going to that ghetto ass HEB where I'm going to be seeing I may run into people I knew in federal prison if I go there. Who know? I don't want to. Then I'm going to have to report to my fucking probation officer that I had contact with a convicted felon and explain that shit. All I wanted to do was get my groceries. That's all, dude. I didn't want to run into these people. So I'm going to go to the other side of the creek to where the nice grocery store is, and that's where I'm going to do my shopping. One of the benefits of having a car, even if it's a car that has problems, even if it's a car that has a transmission range sensor that may need to be replaced and missing electronics for the sunroof. And at least I can take the wheels off if I get a flat tire. I don't got to worry about the wheel lock. Somebody already did that for me. I kind of need to check out that I can actually get the lug nuts off and that the wheels are, not frozen or some goofy, I don't better know that sooner than later, but one day at a time. I've already got the replacement for my window switch. I'll be able to go booyah and have my window switch fixed. And I got that for free. So I got a window switch. I even got the tools to pry off the body panels without doing any damage. I'm not going to go ghetto with a screwdriver and then break something because, if I could have had the right tool to do it in 2 seconds. And then I'm just going to go from there, build out my car kit, roadside repair kit, whatever, and just keep, try to fix the things I can fix on my own and make a list of the things I can't and prioritize it. And if it gets to the point where it costs as much as a car payment to keep that car going, then go get a car payment with a better car. I mean, if that's your choice, or save up a couple grand, take the car, trade it, do what you got to do. Blue Sky says, I've always wondered how you're supposed to know if someone is a felon. That always confused me. They're really not. It's knowingly. The wording of the rule that I have to follow, they ask me this every month. I have to fill out this form. Did you knowingly have contact with a convicted felon? And if so, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't know that my previous landlord, slumlord, was a convicted felon. How would I know until I did a background check on him? And then when I found out, I got the fuck out of there. So I don't think that counts. I don't think that counts. I don't think that's coming. I mean, I didn't want to have contact with him after I knew. I didn't want to have contact with him after like 2 weeks of living there. So I don't think that counts. I don't think that I can be brought up on a violation for that. But let's just say I'm in San Andreas and I just got out of prison and I'm going to hang with my homie Big Smoke and we're going to go out and do a drive-by and run some drugs, then maybe they might have a problem with me hanging out with Big Smoke, my pal, who's also a convicted felon. Like, they just don't want you coming home and going out gangbanging with all your gangbanger friends that you used to go out and bang with. That's what it's for. I mean, for being real. And so I don't think, I am not looking to like become buddies with the people I was friends with in prison, but there are about 5 people who are good people that I knew when I was behind bars that I would have no problem saying hi to one of these days. And I have their contact info, but I don't. Mainly because I don't want to deal with any bullshit from probation. And yes, that Blue Sky asked, does that restriction only apply when you're on probation or parole or whatever? Yes. Once I'm off probation, that doesn't apply. The only thing that applies then is can't own a gun. I'll never be able to own a gun again unless they change the law. If they change the law to where once you've done your time and you've paid your debt to society, you can have your rights back, then okay. But otherwise, that's the only thing I can't do. And possibly, depending on where I live, I could never vote again, but every state's different. I could have voted in the last election if I was still in New York. Here in Texas, no. Law and Order, Republican Texas, fuck no. They won't let you vote if you're a felon. Until after you're done with probation, then I think I can vote. But I really don't care because I'm never going to vote again, so it don't matter to me. I'm just saying, like, for everybody's information, that different restrictions will apply in different states, even after probation's over. Some states don't care. In fact, there are some states where under state law, I would be allowed to own a gun again. But under federal law, I wouldn't. Kind of like you can smoke weed in half of the states now legally, but under the federal government, it's still a crime. Except for if you get caught with a gun as a convicted felon by the federal government, it's pretty much you're automatically going to go to prison for 10 years for that. 10 years. You're going to get 10 years for that. I knew plenty of people who were serving 10 years in prison for being caught with a gun after they were already a convicted felon. And it doesn't matter what you did. You could be like, you could have cooked the books on your fucking taxes and got a felony charge, and that prevents you from ever owning a gun again. If you went and murdered 10 people and they let you go home, I can understand saying, you know what, maybe he shouldn't have a gun. He did murder 10 people. But and cooking the books on your fucking taxes, the people that put you in prison cooked the books on their taxes 10 times worse than you did. But you're the one going to prison for it. They aren't. So I don't think you should lose your gun rights for that. But that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother video. We're over 2 hours in. What else did I want to talk about today? I heard even if you carry a toy gun, you can get arrested by the liberals for going like this with your fingers or picking up a stick off the ground that looks like a gun now. If I go, this is a stick up. Like, they could kick me off YouTube for doing what I'm doing right now, just holding a finger gun up to you guys. I got to be careful. They're going to have an AI bot scan my video and go, oh, you have violated YouTube's firearms policy, and therefore we are banning your channel for life. I've seen crazier things than that happen on YouTube. But anyway, I'm going to go back to that blue collar mentality because I had another note about that. And, that, like, I'm not talking about blue collar work. The work, whatever you do the best you can. I don't hate myself for working at a bakery. I'm trying to learn as much as I can because who knows? There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. But money-wise, I've got much better options available. But it's the mentality that some people have. Some people have this do the bare minimum mentality, and that's probably a better term for what I'm talking about than like the blue collar mentality that I tag it with. It's probably like people who just do the bare minimum. As I grew up around blue collar workers in my family that always told me, don't go chasing after some bullshit dream. Just buck up and work at the factory like everybody else. Told that my whole life because I told everybody I'm going to art school and I'm going to be an artist for a living. So imagine around a bunch of blue collar factory workers, you tell them you're going to go be an artist. Imagine what they're going to tell you in response. You're never going to amount to anything. You're going to be a loser. Just go get a job at the factory. So, these people didn't have to, like everybody else, they'll say. And, these people, those people telling me that didn't have to buck up and go work at the factory like everybody else. But they thought that was the safest option in life, so they stuck with it. So I got a good example of this. There's a guy at the prison. I was in the Butler County Jail, and there was a prison guard there. Nice guy. I wouldn't say he was cool, but he was a very nice guy. He was respectful to you if you were respectful towards him. And he would joke around with us, but he's very much a cop. Very much a cop. No real sense of humor, just straight. He was a cop. Okay, so these guys, they might make $20 an hour, and they have to work 8 to 16-hour shifts with no set schedule. Maybe they have to work a double and work 16 hours that ends at 10 o'clock at night in a prison, and then they have to come back and work another double starting at 6 in the morning. Some of them live an hour away, so they might get home from work at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then they have to turn around and go back to work at 4 or 5 in the morning. So they're only home for like 4 or 5 hours. A lot of these people are just lazy and bare minimum personality. And the ones that have been there for a long time, there's some that have been there for several years. They're there for one reason and one reason only, the pension. After I think it's 20 years, you work there 20 years and you get to retire and you get to collect a full pension for the rest of your life. And so this guy, the guy I'm talking about, the specific guy, he was the prison guard who ran the kitchen at the jail. That was his primary jail job, as the guard. He had an app on his phone because he did this all the time. He would pull out his phone and he'd pull up this app and he would tell you the exact number of days left until his retirement date when he could collect his pension. And he always told us, that's the only reason I'm here. Like he had no ambition in life other than to go to this job, work 20 years, put in your time, walk away with your pension. That's it. He had no ambition beyond that. Probably started the job in his early 20s, and now he's in his late 30s. By the time he's in his mid 40s, he'll be able to go home and collect a pension from that job and never have to go back. Unless the government could take away the pensions, but he'll find out, I guess. But you could ask him and he would pull out his cell phone and he'd say some shit like, I only have 2,927 days left to deal with all you assholes. Put his phone back in his pocket. And so like he found some bare minimum-ish to play it safe-ish job. I mean, we are talking about working in a prison as a prison guard. But he even found the safest job within that job with a more regular schedule and more laid back than some of the other jobs could be in the same building. The kitchen versus being in like the extremely dangerous maximum security block where they put the crazy people who are, the people that are going to fashion a shank out of a shoelace and stab you in the eyeball with it. He's not dealing with those people. He's working in the kitchen where the chillest inmates are. And because he runs the kitchen, his schedule is regular. He's like 5 days a week, 6 to 2, and I'm out. Once in a while, he might work a double when they're short-staffed or whatever. But he probably gets overtime for that too. But this dude has absolutely no ambition to be a captain, a sergeant, has no ambition to go out and be a real cop. He's just going to sit in that prison doing the bare minimum until that last day. And then he gets his pension and he gets to go home and play with, whatever he wants to do. Cruise to the finish line. So it's kind of like on the high end, like look at it like a Formula One race car driver who's totally fine with coasting to the finish line in 17th place every race. As long as he gets to keep his seat in Formula One long enough to pay off his house that he just bought in Monaco, put away some funds to live on, he don't give a shit whether he wins a race. Look at that Danica Patrick chick. She's the most famous race car driver that ever fucking lived. That bitch never won a race in her life. She probably made more money than any other NASCAR driver ever for showing off her titties on GoDaddy commercials and stuff like that. Chick never won a fucking race. Never even tried. She never had to win a race. Bare minimum. Got in, drove the car, showed her boobies off, got paid, quit, went home. Now she's multimillionaire, does what she wants. Never had to win a race. Never probably didn't even have the ambition to do it. Maybe she wasn't good enough to do it. But I can't go to some bare minimum job and just be happy with that and just work to survive. I'm not playing like that. I roll the dice every day. Every day. I bought things that I needed yesterday, rolling the dice that the money will come back. The things like I got to get some hard drives. That's going to cost me some money. A decent socket wrench set. That's a little bit expensive for me right now. Kitchen stuff, cooking stuff that could put me in a painful point financially if I go overboard right now. I just bought a bed, a car. The car could break down, and oh shit, what do I do? I'm trying not to be stupid. I bought a new bike helmet. That was a victory dance for me. I bought a nice bicycle helmet. It fits me perfect. Something I wanted to do since I bought my crappy helmet that I've been wearing the whole time. Rolled the dice, figured the money will come back. I got a car. I can go get a better job. I could go get a better crappy job making $20 an hour doing something else. Now that I can drive to it, I got more options. I'm rolling the dice that something will come along to make up for the rolling of the dice. So I'm not going to be stupid. I'm not going to just go blow my whole wad at once. But I don't have to be, I'm not trying to be stingy either and paranoid and playing it safe every day. Being able to sleep in a real bed with nice sheets and a nice duvet or whatever the girls call that thing. It's a blanket, but it's a nice one. I'll get a good night's sleep that's going to translate into more energy to sit in front of my computer and do the things I got to do. So it's worth it. Boom. I'm playing the long game. It may have cost me more than the 100 thread count sheets that are going to make me all itchy and feel uncomfortable at night. But booyah, you got to live a little bit. So do it when you can. One big win right now, just one big win in 20 different departments will make up for playing it safe, or will make up for rolling the dice. And you aren't going to win if you don't roll the dice. You don't go home from Vegas a winner if you don't play the game. Now, Vegas wasn't built by winners. We know this, but you got no chance at all if you don't play. You walk by every slot. I mean, I've gone to Vegas, spent like $25 worth of gambling in about 4 days of being there. $5 in this slot machine. And I actually won $50 for my 25. And I'm like, all right, we're good. I walked away a winner from Vegas. No more. Let's go to the buffet. $25 back in the hole. I got $25 back. Let's go spend 50 at the buffet. That way I'm only down 25. Booyah. So a big win in any department in my life will change the game. It could be from any direction, whatever. So in the bakery sense, like talking about this blue collar mentality versus entrepreneurial and whatnot. In the bakery sense, let's say that it's my destiny to be making cookies for the rest of my life because that's all I can do. If I'm lucky, someday I could be a general manager and make $20 an hour, but I still won't even have health insurance from my job. Or would it make more sense to educate myself and figure out a way, if this is my destiny, to start my own bakery, making banging desserts and build my own cookie empire over a period of time? Cookies, cakes, donuts, whatever it is. And I know that Texas has leeway when it comes to like a cottage bakery, which is when you run a bakery from your home. I know it works. I know somebody who's done it here in Texas. And Pennsylvania used to have that, and I've looked into it in the past. There was a time in my past that dabbling with starting a bakery was something that we were considering. I'll just leave it at that. So I know some things about Pennsylvania and Texas. So like, what if I started a business from home? Come up with a simple menu of very tasty treats, cold brew coffee, flavored creamers, and out of my current vehicle, come up with a way to just go set up on the side of the road somewhere and sell my crap, like a lemonade stand. I see lemonade stands on the side of the road in abandoned parking lots as I ride my bike around Houston. I see people doing it. Ice cream trucks, lemonade stands, food trucks, you name it. Now, I don't know like what's involved, permits, stuff like that. So people at the bakery, I bring my cold brew in and share it. In fact, now that I've got a car, I'm bringing in a gallon of cold brew on Saturday with a quart of my special flavored creamers. And that just, hey, what's up, everybody? Make some friends today. The one girl who always picks on me, The general manager says me and this one girl are like brother and sisters who hate each other because we are always picking on each other all day long. So I'm going to be able to come in with a bunch of cold brew and creamer, and I'm going to be like, you can't talk shit at all to me today, or you don't get no coffee. So that'll be fun. And so people at the bakery are like, you could charge $8 a glass for this coffee that you make. And I'm like, it's not even that hard to do. And I told them how I do it. It's like super easy. It's not, there's no special skill involved with this. Pick the right coffee beans. That's about it. Grind your own. It's better. But I don't even have a coffee grinder right now. So I don't even grind my own beans. But anyway, I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask Grok. Because, I could look into Google, I could research this all on my own, but sometimes you ask a question to AI and it'll just give you an overview of what you're trying to find out without you having to go and do all this work. And it was just a curiosity thing. So I said, Grok, I live in Texas, in this town. Around town, I occasionally see lemonade vendors with big signs, or ice cream trucks or other food trucks parked in abandoned parking lots on the side of the road selling their stuff. Do these people need a permit? For example, if I want to sell baked goods I produce at home, which I know Texas allows for cottage bakeries to exist, if I sold a limited amount of cookies and brownies, cold brew coffee and flavored creamers, and maybe bottled water and other things on the side of the road, from abandoned parking lots like these taco trucks and lemonade stands and ice cream vans. In fact, somebody who lives on my property right now has an ice cream van. I could literally go talk to one of my neighbors on my own property here and ask him, so what's up with the ice cream van? How do you do that? What do you got to do? Permits. And I could answer questions. I could be like, hey, you want me to make you some cold brew coffee to sell? I mean, we'll work out a little deal. Anyway. So what would I be in for in terms of being shaken down by the police or the government? That's what I asked Grok. Grok says, JS says, that's a great idea. Hope the non-compete won't be an issue. It probably won't because I probably won't do it. I'm just curious. I come up with 100 ideas a day that I won't do, but it's not a bad idea. So the non-compete agreement, there's like a 5-10 mile radius, or I don't know what the radius is. I'm within that radius. I mean, I would have to keep this on the down low if I want to dodge that bullet, and not get sued for it. So, I mean, there's ways to do. I mean, you just got to be smart. To sell baked goods, cold brew coffee, flavored creamers, and bottled water from your home kitchen in Texas, set up in abandoned parking lots, you'll need to navigate Texas's cottage food laws and local regulations. Below is a detailed breakdown of the requirements, permits, potential risk, law enforcement issues, and based on the law and other relevant regulations. Texas has a robust cottage food law that allows individuals to sell certain non-potentially hazardous foods made in a home kitchen without needing a food manufacturer's license or commercial kitchen. However, there are specific requirements and limitations, particularly for where and how you can sell, as well as what foods are permitted. Allowed under Texas cottage food law, you can sell baked goods that don't require refrigeration, such as cookies, brownies, breads, cakes, pastries, as long as they don't contain custard, cream, meringue, or cream cheese, frostings, and fillings, unless they are conforming to non-time temperature control for safety. So anything that needs to be temperature controlled, you can't do without some extra bullshit. Bottled water is generally considered a prepackaged non-TCS item and can be sold under cottage food law, but you must ensure that it's from an approved source. It's commercially bottled. You can't bottle your own. Cold brew coffee and flavored creamers, however, are trickier. Liquid coffee, including cold brew, is explicitly not allowed under the cottage food law because it's considered a beverage requiring temperature control. Flavored creamers are likely to be considered TCS foods due to the dairy content. May not be permitted unless they meet specific safety requirements, shelf stable, non dairy formulations. You would need to verify that your creamers are non TCS, which mine would be, which can be costly. Selling these items could expose you to enforcement actions if they're not compliant. Sales locations: you can sell foods directly to consumers at farmers markets, roadside stands, your home, online for in-state pickup or delivery by you, an employee or a household member. So I could do a cookie delivery service. Boom, deliver cookies around town. Just don't, don't deliver to the wrong person, I guess. However, abandoned parking lots are not explicitly listed as approved. It could be considered a roadside stand, but it depends on local interpretation, zoning regulations, and, the law does prohibit selling at privately sponsored events, craft fairs, flea markets, unless you're operating through a registered cottage food vendor, and wholesales of TCS foods are not allowed. You would need the requirements: a food handler's card. I already have that. To work in any food thing in Texas, you have to have a food handling permit. You take an online course, and then you print out a certificate, and you have a food handler permit. It's good for 2 years. It's $15. I already have it. Mandatory for all cottage food operators. It's mandatory for anybody that works in food in Texas. Super easy to get. I think it was either it may have been $9 for me to do that. I had to do it before I could work at the bakery. No local permits or licenses are required. Texas law explicitly prohibits local health departments or municipalities from requiring permits, licenses, or fees for cottage food operations. Maybe that's 2 things that are good about Texas. I did kind of find 3. When I went to tell the motor vehicles people what I paid for my car, they asked me what I paid for it. I said $1,000. They charged me the sales tax for a $1,000 car. In Pennsylvania, you can't get away with that shit anymore. But here in Texas, that's what you do. If you're buying a private sale car, tell them you paid $500 for it. They'll charge you the sales tax. They'll look it up in some book or some database, the VIN number of the car and the mileage, and they'll calculate what they think it's worth as a wholesale. That's what the dealer would pay at an auction, or what you paid for it, and they charge you the sales tax of whatever's higher. So I figured, $1,000. That should be lower than the number they have. And so it was whatever. I don't know. I've got the paperwork. If I can see what they valued the vehicle at, so be it. Maybe I could have said less. I don't know. Maybe I could have, but it was $137 for everything. I was specifically told that Texas goes for wholesale value of the car, not Kelley Blue Book, but like what a dealership would pay when they buy it at auction or wholesale. I think I read that on the state's own website. Not sure though. I've done so much looking into stuff for the last few weeks that I'm kind of brain dead, and I don't remember everything. Cottage food businesses have a sales limit. You can only make $50,000 a year in gross annual sales. After that, I don't know what they do to you. How are they going to know? It's cash. Unless they got someone who's got nothing better to do than follow you around town watching how many glasses of lemonade you sold. Are they real? I don't know. State prohibits cities from regulating cottage food production based on zoning, but selling in abandoned parking lots might fall under other laws and ordinances. And you need to get, you want to get permission from the property owner to be safe on that. Harris County requires food establishments, which cottage food operations are not classified as, to have a permit, but cottage food operations are exempt from routine inspections unless a complaint is filed. So I could do it without having. I don't even know how I'd run a cottage bakery out of my own place. I've got a nice oven, but out of my own place here, I don't even got room to store ingredients. And I don't got a lot of room in here, so it wouldn't be easy to do. I could make like a few trays of cookies at a time, or do an online thing where I make them on demand and deliver them to you. Could be done though. Could be done. I could make some banging cookies. I could do it. Just, I'd have to be careful. You may need a mobile food vendor permit from Harris County or Houston if you're setting up in a parking lot, as this could be considered a temporary food establishment or roadside vending. Basically, if I have a food truck, I might need a permit for that, depending on the county. You may not need to charge sales tax on baked goods sold without plates or utensils, but you should verify with the comptroller's office. If you sell bottled water or other taxable items, you may need to get a sales tax and use permit. It's easy. It's free to apply for, but you may need to pay a security deposit. You're going to be, you might have the government up your ass. HOA restrictions, may not be able to do it in an HOA. Liability insurance, while not required, it's highly recommended to get general commercial liability insurance to protect against lawsuits if someone gets sick from your stuff. Okay? Specific to cold brew and coffee flavored creamers and flavored creamers, cold brew coffee, as mentioned, liquid coffee is not allowed under the cottage food law. You could sell roasted coffee beans, but preparing and selling cold brew would likely require a food establishment permit from the Texas Department of State Health Services or Harris County, considered a potentially hazardous beverage. Selling cold brew without proper licensing could result in immediate enforcement action. Flavored creamers, if these are dairy-based or require refrigeration, they are likely subject to stricter rules. Refrigeration at 41 degrees or below, specific labeling. You'd need to confirm that they are non-TCS through pH testing, blah, blah, blah. Selling TCS creamers without proper handling could lead to health department intervention. So selling, it's kind of probably the same thing you got to go through to have an ice cream truck. Selling in abandoned parking lots and selling in parking lots, unique challenges. He's just kind of telling me the same shit over and over again. Temporary food establishment permit. If your sales in parking lots are considered a part of an event or a celebration, you may need a temporary food permit from the Houston Health Department. Submitting an application with a photo ID, Texas sales and use tax ID, food handler certificate, and other documents. Even as a cottage food operator, you must ensure sanitary conditions, hygienic, gloves, hand washing. Any produce must be washed, bottled water, ensure it's stored properly. Make sure it's not in contact. You'd need to use a refrigerator instead of an ice chest. Now, I know people in Pittsburgh all day long sit outside the stadium selling bottled water out of coolers, and they don't get shaken down by the cops for that. And that's sitting right outside of PNC Park in Heinz Field or whatever the fuck it is now for baseball and football games. The risk of being shaken down in Texas, the Texas cottage food law prohibits local health departments from regulating or inspecting cottage food operations unless a complaint or foodborne illness is reported. However, non-approved items can get you in trouble. If a health inspector mistakenly demands a permit, you can show them a copy of the Texas Cottage Food Law. Has a website, texascottagefoodlaw.com. Holy shit. They have their own website for that. Police or code enforcement. Roadside stand. That's what I'm like, okay, can I go to like a public park and sell in the park? If it's a public park, maybe I have to ask that. Could I go to the park at the end of my road, pop up a little brownie thing and sell brownies? Is that considered a roadside stand if it's in a public park that's not privately owned? I've got questions now. I could walk down there with a bunch of cookies, boom, 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 go home with a bunch of cash. I already have a Square account and a card reader. I could take people's credit cards. I could take credit card payments right there. My card reader might be out of my card reader might not work. I'd have to do a couple of test transactions to see if it still works. But other than that, oh, fine. I can get a new one. They charge like the nice ones are the cheapest ones they sell are like $40, and that's the one I'd get, the portable one. Stick to approved foods to mitigate risks. Secure permission for parking lots. Proper documentation, carry your food handler's card, product labels, etc. Do not sell cold brew coffee or dairy-based creamers unless you obtain a food establishment permit. I could make a lot of more money selling coffee than selling the cookies, but cookies and coffee. That could be the name of the business, cookies and coffee. Boom. Cookies and coffee. Complete food handler training, develop compliant recipes, create proper labels. There are some labels like allergens and stuff like that that you have to put on what you're selling. Has peanuts, has this, has that. You obviously, if you're making a bunch of peanut butter cookies at home and you package them up, you got to make sure everything's clean before you make something else. You don't want cross contamination, things like that. Get liability insurance. Who knows what that costs? And I've got more questions now but I looked and that's what Grok told me, all this good stuff. I think that the Texas laws are more lenient than Pennsylvania, just based on what I read, because I used to know what all the Pennsylvania stuff was. This seems even more easy to work with than Pennsylvania in terms of restrictions and what you can and can't do and blah, blah, blah. I would like to know, like, okay, if I want to sell cold brew coffee and have a selection of natural creamers and sell cookies and baked goods all out of if it's not a food truck, is it like something right now? It would have to be something I can carry in my car. So it'd have to be a propane or an electric cooler with, temperature control that can sit out in the sun and not be destroyed, or, that isn't going to climb up in temperature because it's sitting out in the sun. A Jackery generator and a portable cooler would last all day, and it would fit in the trunk of the car. You'd just be limited as to how much stuff you could carry. A big Jackery battery with 2 portable freezers or portable coolers could probably fit in the trunk of that. You could fit 2 dead bodies in the trunk of that car. So a little folding table with a couple of coolers that are powered by an electronic battery that'll go all day, with a solar panel that would make it legitimately go all day in the Texas sun, with easy up canopy, some signs. Shit, you could do it. This is all like possible. I could definitely, I don't know. How much money could you make doing that? Could you easily make the $50,000 a year limit by just sitting outside and selling all your crap till it's gone, and then you make more? It's not, I don't think it definitely is not easy. Nothing is as easy as it sounds like. Baking enough cookies to make some money that's not easy to do. See you later, blue sky. I'll I'll do the I'll probably do a members only chat on Sunday. How about, well, let's see. How about like in the afternoon sometime? I don't know when, but we got members now. We'll do it. Do it. We'll go from there. I'll work on the other stuff as it comes. Um, but yeah, I mean the whole thing, like people at work were telling me I should sell my cold brew coffee. And I'm like, anybody can make it. I'm like, it's not like, but anybody can make coffee at home with a French press that's going to be better than what you get at Starbucks. And people are willing to pay $7 for a coffee at Starbucks. So why not? Go to the Woodlands where all the rich people live and set up a stand and sell my stuff to the rich people in the Woodlands at a premium price, make a name for it, have cards with a website, you can have it delivered, et cetera, et cetera. What? Maybe I could move into a commercial kitchen and pay rent to share a commercial kitchen space to make all my stuff. And I mean, it could be a thing. I don't know. I don't know. So these are ideas. I have a tons of ideas, but this one does kind of like, this one's been kind of biting at me to at least draw up a ghetto business plan, calculate it out. What is this going to cost? What does the permits cost? What does the sales tax license cost? What does it cost for the equipment you would need? How much can you actually do from your home? How much do you have to charge? What do all the ingredients cost? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I've got recipes. I've got not from where I work. I've got my own recipes. I've got knowledge. I mean, recipes.com will give you, I mean, you can go get good recipes there too. And I know enough about what I'm doing to make my own stuff and tweak things to my own liking. I know that I've had friends come and I've come up with some really good ideas for like roadside food. But in Pittsburgh, it was always like to sell food in the parking lot at a Steelers game. I think the permit was like $2,000. So you would have to come up with, I think we kind of roughly priced it out with all the permits and all the BS. And this was prepared foods. This would be cooked on the spot using a turkey fryer in a freaking parking lot. I don't want to say what it was because it was such a good idea someone would steal it. But with a turkey fryer and oil, and then how do we deal with that after the fact? Like you got this hot turkey fryer full of hot oil. What do you do with that in a parking lot of a stadium? Can you even do that legally? Like tailgaters do a lot of crazy shit, so I don't know. But how do you dispose of that properly after, safely? And there's ways, but we're like, we got to come up with $5,000 just to try it. Just to be able to try it once would probably cost $5,000. I think it would sell. I think it would have made all our money back in one day. But it's a roll of the dice that we didn't want to do at the time and a pain in the ass. And once you start looking into something like that, you figure out like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. And it's kind of like buying a used car. It looked great when you drove it the first time, and then, the sunroof doesn't work. Oh crap! It shows that it's in reverse when you put it in neutral. What else? Oh, it's missing the lug nut key. You start to discover things after you have that good idea, and you're like, maybe it's not such a good idea. But it is kind of nice to know that. I mean, it is possible to do. I mean, there's so many possibilities there with Cottage Bakery that, man, you could really do something cool there. But anyway, it's getting late. It's almost 9:00. I'm going on 3 hours. I'll wrap it up in 4 minutes. Glad we got to talk about stuff other than the car, because there's got to be other things going on in life, and it's been fun lately. I'm tired. I'm worn out, but I'm recovering energy. I know that driving to work this weekend and Monday is going to be a whole different experience than Monday was this week. I'm recovering day after day this week, and I am not extremely tired. And I'm not extremely tired. I'm definitely not. I'm not with it yet. My house is still a mess. The bed frame is holding me up a little bit. I'll take you guys on a tour when I get the place tidy again and to my liking. Phase 2 of however many phases there are until I find another place to live. If I'm here for a year, that's the lease. It switches to a month-to-month situation from there. He's not going to make me renew a lease when the lease expires. Alex in Analog is an awesome channel member. Awesome. Didn't even see you show up in the chat today. But thanks for joining. That's awesome. Supposedly, I get a $6 bonus from YouTube for every new member in the first 30 days. Plus $600 for turning it on. I haven't seen that yet. Let me look in the Google AdSense account. I know people who have said they got it, said it took a month or two for it to show up. YouTube's very slow to pay you. Whatever money you accumulate during the month from your YouTube ads and stuff, you won't get paid for it until towards the end of the next month. So anyway, yeah, I mean, it's accumulating. My payments have slowed down because I stopped doing the daily videos where I just push videos every day. Because I was making enough ad revenue to get like $100 a month from that, and that slowed down. And I don't care. I'm not doing it for the money. It just was nice to have groceries and stuff. But I've spent some money at Target on things that are above and beyond what I originally went there for yesterday, rolling the dice that the money will just come back somehow. If I did get that $600 bonus from YouTube for the turning on the channel memberships that they offered me, then that would offset all that stuff right off the bat. That'd pay for a car repair if I needed one. So, it'll all work out. I don't know how. I'm also not terribly I'm second guessing, should I have bought that Toyota, or is the Volkswagen going to be okay? The Volkswagen be, $3,800. Who pays $3,800 for a car these days? Like the $500 jalopy from my younger days is now the $5,000 jalopy with inflation and Bidenomics and everything else. So I don't know, whatever. If I hate the car in 6 months, I'll have to do something else. We'll go from there. But with that, I'm going to peace out for a bit, get something to eat, chill, sleep in the new bed with a mattress on the floor, and hope that the bed frame comes tomorrow. And then sometime next week, I'll put up a tour of the new place, the new place at phase 2, after I get everything looking the way it's supposed to look again. With that, peace out, everybody. I hope you all have a good one.